Have you ever drifted off to sleep wondering about the hidden order of the Pokémon world? Beyond the battles and friendships lies a quiet system, an invisible language that defines what each Pokémon is and what it can become. Tonight, we're setting aside the quest for badges and glory. We're taking a slower path, one that traces the unseen threads connecting every creature in this vast universe. From baby Pokémon brimming with untapped potential to ancient guardians burdened by legend, each has a story woven into the fabric of creation. We'll explore how evolution branches and bends, how long-extinct species are brought back to life, and how some Pokémon shift and change with the seasons, the weather, or even a simple held item. This isn't about stats or battles, it's about the artistry and wonder that make this world feel alive, where science and myth intertwine, and where creatures of immense power can share a bond with a single curious child. Together, we'll uncover why some Pokémon can breed while others cannot, why certain species belong only to distant regions, and how a select few can transform into entirely new forms. We'll unearth the fossils of ancient Pokémon, compare them to paradox forms from the far past and future, and marvel at the strange beauty of convergent evolution. We'll meet the legendary guardians who balance the world, the mythical beings whispered of in stories, and even the ultra beasts, wanderers from dimensions beyond our own. Along the way, we'll revisit the humble starters who begin every journey, and the rare pseudo-legendaries that reward patience and dedication. But most of all, this journey is about calm, about letting your thoughts drift through fields of tall grass, the distant call of wild Pokémon fading into the night air. It's about the rhythm of the waves, the flicker of starlight, and the endless sense of possibility that defines this world. So settle in, breathe deeply, let the soft glow of this universe guide you through its hidden pathways and forgotten lore, and let every detail wash over you like a warm, comforting wave. Before we drift deeper, a gentle thank you to everyone who's been supporting these videos. You're seriously amazing. Most of our regular viewers are already subscribed, but if you haven't yet, take a moment to double check you're subscribed and that your bell is set to all. YouTube's been acting up lately, so this helps make sure you actually see new uploads, and it really helps our little community grow. Also, don't forget to share this video with any friends you have who also love Pokémon. Thanks again. Now back to the video. Tonight, we're not just catching Pokémon, we're understanding them, we're appreciating them, and most importantly, we're letting them guide us to a peaceful and restful sleep. Let's begin. Did you know that some Pokémon are considered so young and inexperienced that they're essentially Pokémon toddlers? These are the baby Pokémon, and they represent the very first stage of some Pokémon evolution lines. They're small, often incredibly cute, and surprisingly, they have their own unique rules and quirks within the Pokémon universe. You might think of them as just weaker versions of their evolved forms, but that's far from the whole story. In fact, their very existence is tied to some fascinating mechanics. These little ones were first introduced in Generation 2, with Pokémon Gold and Silver. This generation brought a wave of new features, including the concept of breeding, and with it, the need to define the very beginning of a Pokémon's life cycle. Pokémon like Pichu, the pre-evolution of Pikachu, and Cleffa, the pre-evolution of Clefairy, made their debut, instantly capturing hearts with their adorable designs. One of the most significant restrictions placed upon these baby Pokémon is that they can't breed. It might seem obvious, but it's a fundamental rule. They're simply too young to participate in the breeding process. If you want to obtain more of these precious little creatures, you'll need to breed their evolved forms. This makes them somewhat unique, as they can only enter the world through the careful pairing of their older counterparts. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. The existence of some baby Pokémon is tied to specific items, namely incense. Often, these special incense items are required to even exist. Without them, you might end up with a different Pokémon entirely. Take, for example, Winort, the pre-evolution of Wobbuffet. If you breed two Wobbuffet without holding a lax incense, you'll simply get another Wobbuffet egg. But, if one of the Wobbuffet is holding a lax incense, the resulting egg will hatch into a Winort. It's a crucial detail that many trainers often overlook. Similarly, there's Azurill, the pre-evolution of Marill. To get an Azurill egg, one of the Marill or Azumarill parents needs to be holding a sea incense. Otherwise, you'll just get a Marill egg. These incense act as a trigger, a special condition that allows the baby form to emerge. Why is this the case? The lore doesn't explicitly state, but one could imagine the incense subtly alters the egg. imbuing it with the necessary components for the baby form to develop. These items add a layer of complexity to breeding, encouraging trainers to experiment and discover the hidden requirements for obtaining these adorable Pokémon. It's not just about pairing two compatible Pokémon, but also about understanding the nuances of their lineage and the items that influence their offspring. Many baby Pokémon are also cross-generational pre-evolutions, linking different generations together in surprising ways. This means that a Pokémon introduced in a later generation can actually be the earlier form of a Pokémon from a previous generation. It's like discovering a missing piece of a family tree, connecting Pokémon across different regions and timelines. For example, Budeau, introduced in Generation 4, is the pre-evolution of Roselia, which was introduced in Generation 3. Suddenly, Roselia's evolutionary line extends backward, adding a new dimension to its story. It gives a sense of continuity and interconnectedness to the Pokémon world, showing that even Pokémon from different eras can be related. Another example is Mime Jr., the pre-evolution of Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime was a somewhat enigmatic Pokémon from Generation 1, a standalone creature with no known evolutionary relatives. But with the introduction of Mime Jr. in Generation 4, Mr. Mime gained a past, a history, and a newfound sense of belonging within the Pokémon ecosystem. These cross-generational connections are not just about adding new Pokémon, they're about enriching the lore and history of existing Pokémon. They provide context and depth, making the Pokémon world feel more alive and interconnected. It's a testament to the creative vision of the Pokémon designers, who are constantly finding new ways to surprise and delight us. Now, let's talk about how Generation 9 brought changes to breeding mechanics, affecting baby Pokémon. The introduction of new Pokémon and the alteration of existing breeding rules can have a ripple effect on how these baby forms are obtained. One of the most notable changes in recent generations is the increased accessibility of certain items and mechanics that influence breeding. Things like Destiny Knots, which pass down IVs, and Everstones, which pass down natures, have become easier to obtain, making it simpler to breed Pokémon with specific traits. This, in turn, can indirectly affect baby Pokémon, as trainers are now better equipped to breed the evolved forms that produce them. However, Generation 9 also introduced new Pokémon that may have pre-evolutions yet to be discovered. As the Pokémon world continues to expand, it's likely that we'll see even more baby Pokémon emerge, further enriching the breeding landscape and adding new layers of complexity to the evolutionary lines we already know and love. Think about it. Each new generation has the potential to rewrite the history of existing Pokémon, revealing hidden connections and expanding the possibilities for breeding and evolution. It's a constant process of discovery, a never-ending quest to uncover the secrets of the Pokémon universe. But the influence of baby Pokémon extends beyond just breeding mechanics. Their very existence poses interesting questions about the nature of evolution and the life cycle of Pokémon. What determines whether a Pokémon has a pre-evolution? Is it simply a matter of design, or is there a deeper, more fundamental reason? Perhaps it's related to the environment in which the Pokémon lives, or the specific adaptations it needs to survive. Maybe some Pokémon require a period of infancy to develop certain abilities or traits, while others are born ready to face the world. These are questions that may never be fully answered, but they add a layer of mystery and intrigue to the study of Pokémon biology. They remind us that there's always more to learn, more to discover, and more to appreciate about these incredible creatures. And while they may be small and seemingly insignificant, baby Pokémon play a crucial role in the overall ecosystem. They represent the beginning of a journey, the potential for growth and transformation, and the interconnectedness of all living things. They remind us that even the smallest creatures can have a big impact on the world around them. So the next time you encounter a Pichu, a Cleffa, or a Winot, take a moment to appreciate its unique place in the Pokémon universe. Remember that it's not just a weaker version of its evolved form, but a distinct and valuable creature with its own special rules and requirements. Think about the incense that might be needed for its very existence, the cross-generational connections it represents, and the changes in breeding mechanics that have shaped its role in the Pokémon world. It's a fascinating topic, one that highlights the depth and complexity of the Pokémon universe. And now, as we drift further into the realm of Pokémon categories, prepare to explore the fascinating world of choices and branching paths. Get ready to discover how a single Pokémon can evolve in multiple directions, leading to entirely different forms and abilities as we delve into the intricacies of split evolutions. Did you know that some Pokémon aren't destined for just one final form? Certain species possess the remarkable ability to branch off, evolving into entirely different creatures depending on specific conditions. We call this phenomenon split evolution. These aren't just cosmetic changes, mind you. Split evolutions can result in Pokémon with dramatically different types, vastly altered stat spreads, and even entirely new roles in battle. The possibilities are truly staggering. Think of it this way. You're raising a Pokémon from its earlier stages, carefully nurturing its growth. But instead of a single, predetermined path, you're presented with a fork in the road. The choices you make, the training you provide, and perhaps even the items you use will ultimately determine which evolution your Pokémon undergoes. It's a fascinating blend of nature and nurture, chance and choice. And no discussion of split evolutions would be complete without mentioning the undisputed king, the poster child, the very embodiment of branching potential, Eevee. Eevee, with its unassuming normal-type appearance, holds within it the key to unlocking a dazzling array of elemental forms. Fire, water, electric, psychic, dark, grass, ice, fairy. Eevee can become them all. And each evolution, or evolution as they are affectionately known, represents a significant shift in both appearance and battling prowess. But why is this mechanic so important? Why did the creators of Pokémon decide to implement split evolutions in the first place? Well, the answer lies in the core principles of the game itself: player choice and team diversity. Imagine a world where every Pokémon evolved along a single linear path. Your team compositions would quickly become predictable, stale, and frankly boring. Split evolutions inject a much-needed dose of unpredictability and customization into the equation. Suddenly, the act of building a team becomes a strategic puzzle. Do you need a powerful water type to counter fire type threats? Then perhaps Vaporeon is the evolution for you. Or maybe you're lacking a speedy electric type attacker. In that case, Jolteon might be the perfect fit. The beauty of split evolutions is that they allow you to tailor your team to your specific needs and preferences. They empower you to experiment, to explore different strategies, and to truly make your team your own. And it's not just about type matchups and stat distributions. Split evolutions also add a layer of depth to the overall gameplay experience. They force you to think critically about your training methods, your item usage, and even the time of day you choose to evolve your Pokémon. For example, some evolutions, like Espeon and Umbreon, require high friendship levels and must be evolved during the day or night, respectively. This adds a sense of connection and investment to the process. You're not just mindlessly grinding levels, you're actively building a relationship with your Pokémon, fostering its growth and guiding it towards its ultimate form. And let's not forget the impact of split evolutions on competitive battling. In the world of competitive Pokémon, every advantage counts, and the ability to surprise your opponent with an unexpected evolution can be a game changer. Imagine your opponent expecting a bulky defensive Umbreon, only to be blindsided by a swift and powerful Espeon. The element of surprise can disrupt their strategy, throw them off balance, and ultimately give you the upper hand. But Eevee isn't the only Pokémon with access to split evolutions. There are many other species that offer trainers a choice in their evolutionary journey. Take Tyrogue, for instance. This fighting-type Pokémon can evolve into Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, or Hitmontop, depending on its attack and defense stats. If Tyrogue's attack stat is higher than its defense stat, it will evolve into the Kicking Master, Hitmonlee. If its defense stat is higher, it will become the punching powerhouse, Hitmonchan. And if its attack and defense stats are equal, it will transform into the Spinning Wonder, Hitmontop. This unique evolution mechanic adds another layer of complexity to team building. You can't simply train a Tyrogue and expect it to evolve into a specific Hitmon form. You need to carefully manage its stats, using specific training methods and items to ensure it meets the necessary requirements. Then there's Snorunt, an ice type, Pokémon that can evolve into either Glalie or Frostlass. The choice here is determined by the use of a specific item, the Dawnstone. If you use a Dawnstone on a female Snorunt, it will evolve into the elegant ice ghost type Frostlass. Otherwise, it will evolve into the more straightforward ice-type Glalie. This split evolution highlights the importance of item usage in the Pokémon world. Sometimes, the key to unlocking a Pokémon's full potential lies not in its training, but in the items you choose to use on it. Another interesting example is Wurmple, a bug-type Pokémon that can evolve into either Silcoon or Cascoon. The evolution here is seemingly random. determined by an internal value that is hidden from the player. Silken then evolves into Beautifully, while Cascoon evolves into Dustox. While the randomness of Wurmple's evolution might seem frustrating at first, it actually adds a sense of mystery and intrigue to the game. You never quite know what you're going to get, and that element of surprise can be quite exciting. And let's not forget the more recent additions to the Split Evolution family. In recent generations, we've seen even more Pokémon gain access to branching evolutionary paths, further expanding the possibilities for team building and strategic gameplay. The strategic implications of split evolutions are profound. They force trainers to adapt, to think outside the box, and to constantly reevaluate their team compositions. They reward creativity, experimentation, and a deep understanding of the game's mechanics. Moreover, split evolutions contribute significantly to the overall narrative of the Pokémon world. They remind us that evolution is not a linear process, but rather a branching tree of possibilities. They highlight the diversity of the Pokémon world and the endless potential for growth and change. They also serve as a metaphor for life itself. Just like Pokémon, we all face choices that can lead us down different paths. The decisions we make, the experiences we have, and the relationships we build all shape who we become. And that's what makes split evolutions so compelling. They're not just a game mechanic, they're a reflection of the complexities and possibilities of life itself. They encourage us to embrace the unknown, to explore different options, and to ultimately create our own unique destiny. So, as you drift off to sleep tonight, consider the Pokémon with split evolutions. Think about the choices they represent, the strategies they enable, and the impact they have on the overall Pokémon experience. And remember that, just like those Pokémon, you too have the power to shape your own evolution. Now, as we continue our journey through the fascinating world of Pokémon categories, prepare to discover how older Pokémon gain new life and relevance through a process known as cross-generation evolutions. These evolutions can revive forgotten species and make them relevant again. Primeape, evolving into Anahilope is a recent example. This mechanic keeps older Pokémon viable and interesting, and expands on existing lore and character designs. Did you know that some of the very first Pokémon are still evolving, even after all these years? It's true. We're diving into the fascinating world of cross-generation evolutions, a clever mechanic that breathes new life into older Pokémon. These evolutions can completely revive forgotten species, rescuing them from the dusty corners of our memories and thrusting them back into the spotlight. Think of it as a Pokémon renaissance, a second chance for those classic creatures to shine once more. One of the most exciting examples of this phenomenon is Primeape's evolution into Anahilope. Primeape, a fighting-type Pokémon from the very first generation, was always known for its fiery temper and relentless aggression. But let's be honest, it wasn't exactly a powerhouse. It was fine, serviceable, but it didn't exactly strike fear into the hearts of trainers, did it? It certainly wasn't setting any usage charts on fire. Then came along Generation 9, and with it, a brand new evolution, Anahilope. Suddenly, Primeape wasn't just a frustrated monkey. It was a spectral force of nature, a fighting and ghost-type Pokémon fueled by pure, unadulterated rage. It's an evolution that not only gave Primeape a significant power boost, but also added layers of depth and intrigue to its character. The design itself tells a story, a visual representation of Primeape's pent-up anger finally reaching its breaking point, transcending the physical realm. It's a design that speaks volumes, hinting at the lore behind this new evolution. But why is this mechanic so important? Why does Game Freak, the company behind Pokémon, choose to give older Pokémon these new evolutions? Well, there are several key reasons. First and foremost, it keeps older Pokémon viable and interesting. In a world constantly flooded with new Pokémon, it's easy for the original 151, or even those from later generations, to fade into obscurity. Cross-generational evolutions prevent this from happening. They ensure that these classic Pokémon remain relevant in the competitive scene and in the hearts of fans. Imagine if Pokémon like Primeape were simply left behind, forever relegated to the lower tiers of battle. It would be a sad state of affairs, wouldn't it? But by giving them new evolutions, Game Freak ensures that they continue to have a place in the ever-evolving world of Pokémon. Think about it. Without Anahilope, would Primeape even be a blip on the radar for most modern players? Probably not. But now, Thanks to its powerful new form and unique typing, Annihilate is a force to be reckoned with, a valuable asset to any team. And that, in turn, makes Primate relevant once again. But it's not just about competitive viability. Cross-generational evolutions also expand on existing lore and character designs. They provide opportunities to explore the history and biology of Pokémon in new and exciting ways. Take for example the case of Scyther evolving into Cleaver in Pokémon Legends, Arceus. Scyther, a bug and flying type Pokémon introduced in Generation 1, was always a cool and unique design. Its blade-like arms and swift movements made it a formidable opponent. But its evolution, Scyther, while powerful, felt like a natural progression. It was a logical step, a metallic upgrade that enhanced Scyther's existing strengths. Cleaver, on the other hand, was something completely different. This bug and rock-type Pokémon was a regional variant of Scyther's evolution, found only in the Hisui region, the ancient version of Sinnoh. And its design was unlike anything we'd seen before. Its body was covered in jagged, axe-like formations, a result of being exposed to a special type of ore found in the region. Cleavor wasn't just a new evolution, it was a window into the history of the Pokémon world. It showed us how Pokémon could adapt and evolve in response to their environment, how the unique conditions of a particular region could shape their very being. It added depth and complexity to Scyther's story, transforming it from a simple, bug-type Pokémon into a creature with a rich and fascinating history. The existence of cross-generational evolutions also opens up exciting possibilities for future games. What other forgotten Pokémon could benefit from a new evolution? What hidden potential lies dormant within these classic creatures, waiting to be unlocked? The possibilities are endless. Consider Pokémon like Dunsparce, a normal-type Pokémon from Generation 2 that has long been considered one of the weakest and most underwhelming Pokémon in the entire franchise. For years, fans have clamoured for Dunsparce to receive an evolution, a chance to finally become something more than just a punchline. And then, in Generation 9, their prayers were answered. Dunsparce finally evolved into Dudunsparce, a slightly longer and slightly less underwhelming version of itself. Okay, maybe it wasn't exactly the earth-shattering transformation that everyone was hoping for, but it was still an evolution. It was a sign that even the most forgotten Pokémon could still have a future, a chance to surprise us all. Or what about Pokémon like Farfetch'd, another Generation 1 Pokémon that has always been somewhat lacking in power and utility? Imagine if Farfetch'd were to receive a new evolution that transformed it into a powerful fighting type, wielding its leek like a legendary sword. It would be an incredible redemption story, a chance for Farfetch'd to finally prove its worth. The point is, cross-generational evolutions aren't just about giving older Pokémon a power boost, they're about expanding the lore, adding depth, and creating new and exciting possibilities for the future. They're about showing us that even the most forgotten Pokémon can still have a role to play in the ever-evolving world of Pokémon. Now let's delve deeper into some specific examples of cross-generational evolutions and explore the impact they've had on the Pokémon world. We've already touched on Primeape and Scyther, but there are many other Pokémon that have benefited from this mechanic. One notable example is Magneton's evolution into Magnezone. Magneton, an electric and steel type Pokémon introduced in Generation 1, was already a fairly powerful Pokémon, but its evolution into Magnezone in Generation 4 took it to a whole new level. Magnezone gained a significant boost to its special attack and special defense, making it a formidable special attacker and a tough special wall. But more than that, Magnezone's design was a striking departure from Magneton's. It was a sleek, futuristic design that hinted at the advanced technology that powered this Pokémon. Another great example is Lickitung's evolution into Lickilicky. Lickitung, a normal-type Pokémon from Generation 1, was always a bit of an oddity. Its long tongue and goofy expression made it a memorable Pokémon, but it wasn't exactly known for its power or utility. Lickilicky, on the other hand, was a surprisingly strong Pokémon. It gained a significant boost to its HP and attack, making it a bulky attacker that could dish out a lot of damage. And its design was just as quirky and memorable as Lickitung's, with its giant bib and even longer tongue. Then there's the case of Murkrow, a dark and flying type Pokémon introduced in Generation 2. Murkrow was always a mischievous and cunning Pokémon, but it wasn't exactly a powerhouse. Its evolution into Honchkrow in Generation 4 transformed it into a powerful and imposing figure. Honchkrow gained a significant boost to its attack and special attack, making it a versatile attacker that could dish out damage from both sides of the spectrum. And its design was a perfect reflection of its newfound power, with its large hat and menacing glare. Each of these cross-generational evolutions has had a significant impact on the Pokémon world, adding depth, complexity and excitement to the franchise. They've shown us that even the most forgotten Pokémon can still have a bright future, and they've opened up exciting new possibilities for future games. But perhaps the most important thing about cross-generational evolutions is that they remind us that the world of Pokémon is always evolving, always changing, always surprising us with new and exciting discoveries. It's a world where anything is possible, where even the most unlikely Pokémon can become powerful and important, and that's a truly magical thing. It keeps the game fresh, even decades after its initial release. It keeps players engaged. It keeps us all coming back for more. As we drift deeper into slumber, consider the ancient secrets hidden within the earth, waiting to be unearthed. Up next, we'll explore fossil Pokémon, those resurrected relics of a bygone era, often rock-type, unearthed from the earth. These Pokémon give us a glimpse into the ancient Pokémon world. Have you ever wondered what secrets lie buried beneath the Pokémon world? Fossil Pokémon offer us a tantalizing glimpse into that ancient past. These aren't just any Pokémon, they're creatures brought back to life, resurrected from fossils discovered within the games. Think about it. Holding a fragment of a long-lost creature in your hands, then witnessing its miraculous return. It's like a real-life Jurassic Park, but with less chaos and more Pokeballs. The process is usually pretty straightforward. You find a fossil, you take it to a research facility, and with a little bit of scientific wizardry you get a brand new ancient Pokémon. But have you ever stopped to consider the implications of this? We're literally playing God, bringing back extinct species. Is it ethical? Is it safe? Well, the games don't delve too deeply into the moral quandaries, but it's certainly something to ponder as you drift off to sleep. More often than not, these resurrected Pokémon share a common trait. They're rock-type. This makes sense, of course, considering they've spent millennia encased in stone, but it also means they're particularly vulnerable to water, grass, fighting, and ground-type attacks. A bit of a disadvantage when you're trying to reclaim your place in the modern Pokémon world, don't you think? We're talking about species that roamed the Earth ages ago, creatures that predate most of the Pokémon we know and love. They represent a time when the Pokémon world was vastly different, a prehistoric ecosystem teeming with bizarre and powerful beings. These fossil Pokémon are living relics, tangible connections to a forgotten era. But what if I told you that some fossil Pokémon require a little more assembly? Some games, particularly those in Generation 8, introduced a unique mechanic that involves combining different fossils to revive a Pokémon. This is where things get really interesting and frankly a little bit weird. In Pokémon Sword and Shield, you don't just find a generic fossil, instead you find fossilized parts. A fossilized bird, a fossilized dino, a fossilized drake, and a fossilized fish. And the truly bizarre part, you can combine these seemingly incompatible parts to create, well, abominations, really? Imagine slapping a fossilized bird onto a fossilized drake. What do you get? Dracozolt, a Pokémon that looks like it was assembled by a mad scientist. Or perhaps a fossilized fish combined with a fossilized dino. That gives you Arctovish, a creature that seems perpetually confused and uncomfortable. These Gen 8 fossil Pokémon are unique, to say the least. They're not exactly graceful or majestic. They look like mismatched puzzle pieces, creatures that were never meant to exist in their current forms, but that's part of their charm, isn't it? They're a testament to the power of human intervention, a reminder that even the most ancient mysteries can be tampered with, sometimes with hilarious and slightly disturbing results. The existence of these combined fossil Pokémon raises some serious questions. Were these Pokémon always like this? Did they evolve naturally into these bizarre forms? Or are they the unfortunate result of human meddling, a Frankensteinian creation that should never have seen the light of day? The games offer no clear answers, leaving us to speculate and wonder about the true nature of these peculiar creatures. Think about it. We're taking fragments of ancient DNA, splicing them together, and creating entirely new Pokémon. It's like playing with the building blocks of life itself, and while the results may be unconventional, they also provide valuable insights into the evolutionary history of Pokémon. These fossil Pokémon give us a glimpse into the ancient Pokémon world, a world populated by creatures that are both familiar and alien. They show us that evolution is not always a linear process, that sometimes it takes strange and unexpected turns. They remind us that the Pokémon world is full of surprises, that there are still countless mysteries waiting to be uncovered. Consider Aerodactyl, a fearsome Pokémon that dominated the skies in prehistoric times. Its jagged wings and sharp teeth paint a picture of a formidable predator, a creature perfectly adapted to its ancient environment. Then there's Kabutops, a sleek and deadly hunter with razor-sharp scythes for hands. Its streamlined body suggests a life spent stalking prey in ancient seas. And let's not forget Omastar, a Pokémon whose spiral shell is a testament to the beauty and complexity of nature. Its tentacles hint at a patient and cunning hunter, a creature that relied on stealth and deception to capture its prey. Each of these fossil Pokémon tells a story of survival, adaptation, and ultimately extinction. These Pokémon are not just relics of the past, they're also powerful reminders of the fragility of life. They show us that even the most successful species can disappear if they fail to adapt to changing environments. They urge us to appreciate the biodiversity of the Pokémon world, to protect the creatures that still roam the earth today. So, as you drift off to sleep tonight, think about the fossil Pokémon. Think about the ancient world they came from, the challenges they faced, and the legacy they left behind. Think about the ethical implications of bringing them back to life, the responsibility we bear as trainers and researchers, and remember, the Pokémon world is full of wonders, both ancient and modern. Each Pokémon, whether it's a fossil, resurrected from the depths of time, or a creature newly discovered in a distant region, has its own unique story to tell. It's up to us to listen, to learn, and to appreciate the incredible diversity of the Pokémon world. The mystery surrounding these Pokémon extends beyond their origins and physical forms. Consider their behaviours. Do they retain any memories of their past lives? Do they feel a sense of displacement, of being out of sync with the modern world? The games only offer subtle hints, leaving us to fill in the blanks with our own imaginations. Perhaps Aerodactyl still yearns for the open skies of prehistoric times, forever searching for a world that no longer exists. Maybe Kabutops still instinctively hunts for prey in the rivers and lakes, unaware that its ancient hunting grounds have long since disappeared. And perhaps Omastar still dreams of the vast oceans it once roamed, its spiral shell echoing with the whispers of the past. These are just speculations, of course, but they add another layer of depth to these fascinating creatures. They remind us that Pokémon are not just data points in a game. They are living, breathing beings with their own unique histories and personalities. They deserve our respect, our admiration, and our protection. But what about the future of fossil Pokémon? Will we continue to discover new fossils, new species that have been hidden away for millions of years? Will we find ways to improve the revival process to ensure that these ancient creatures are fully integrated into the modern Pokémon world? The possibilities are endless. As technology advances, we may even be able to unlock the secrets of their DNA, to learn more about their evolutionary history and their place in the Pokémon ecosystem. We may even be able to create new fossil Pokémon, combining the DNA of different species to create entirely new creatures. But with great power comes great responsibility. We must be careful not to tamper too much with the natural order, not to create Pokémon that are too powerful or too dangerous. We must always remember that these are living beings, not just scientific experiments. So as you continue your journey through the Pokémon world, Keep an eye out for those telltale fossils. You never know what secrets they might hold, what ancient creatures they might bring back to life. And remember, the Pokémon world is always evolving, always changing. There are always new mysteries to uncover, new adventures to be had. The world of Pokémon is a tapestry woven with threads of history, science, and imagination. Fossil Pokémon are just one small part of this intricate design, but they offer a valuable perspective on the past, the present, and the future of these incredible creatures. And as you drift deeper into sleep, consider the next category we'll explore: variant Pokémon. What subtle visual differences set them apart, and why do some trainers seek them above all others? Have you ever encountered a Pokémon that looked just a little different? Perhaps a Pikachu with a slightly darker shade of yellow, or a Bulbasaur with a flower that seemed a bit more vibrant. These aren't new species, but rather what we call variant Pokémon. Now, before you conjure images of region-locked rarities, let's clarify something crucial. These variations aren't tied to specific geographical locations. Unlike the Alolan or Galarian forms, which boast drastically altered appearances and typings due to their unique regional ecosystems, variant Pokémon are more subtle, more intrinsic. The most well-known and arguably most coveted type of variant Pokémon is the elusive shiny Pokémon. Imagine encountering a Charizard, not with its familiar fiery orange scales, but with sleek dark black ones. Or perhaps a pink Butterfree instead of its usual white and purple. These colour palette swaps are purely cosmetic, offering no stat boosts or competitive advantages. Yet, their rarity makes them incredibly valuable to collectors and trainers alike. Shiny Pokémon are the result of a very specific and very rare set of conditions occurring within the game's code. The exact odds of encountering a shiny Pokémon have varied across generations, but they are always significantly lower than encountering a standard Pokémon. This scarcity fuels the desire, turning the hunt for shinies into a thrilling, sometimes obsessive pursuit. Some trainers dedicate hundreds, even thousands, of hours to shiny hunting, employing various strategies to increase their odds, such as chaining encounters or using special items like the shiny charm. But shiny Pokémon aren't the only type of variant Pokémon. Gender differences also contribute to this fascinating category. In many Pokémon species, males and females exhibit subtle visual distinctions. These differences can range from minor details, such as the length of a Pokémon's horns or the shape of its fins, to more pronounced variations in colour patterns or markings. Take, for example, the Nidoran family. Nidoran and Nidoran are entirely separate species, representing distinct evolutionary lines for male and female Nidoran. However, within other species, gender differences are more subtle. Consider Pyroar, where the male boasts a magnificent lion-like mane, while the female sports a more streamlined, flowing hairstyle. Or look at Frillish and Jellicent, where the male is blue and the female is pink. These visual cues add depth and realism to the Pokémon world, reflecting the natural diversity found in animal populations. And it's not just colour and shape. Sometimes the environment itself can influence a Pokémon's appearance, leading to even more subtle variations. These environmental differences might be linked to the Pokémon's diet, the climate it inhabits, or even the specific location where it was born. For instance, a Pikachu living in a particularly sunny region might develop slightly brighter fur than one living in a shadier area. Or a Shellos found in the East Sea versus the West Sea will look completely different. These minor environmental variations, while not officially categorized or recognized within the game's mechanics, add another layer of collectability and visual diversity for dedicated players. The beauty of variant Pokémon lies in their subtle nature. They're not game-changing alterations that drastically affect gameplay, but rather aesthetic touches that enrich the overall experience. They encourage players to pay attention to detail, to appreciate the nuances of each Pokémon species, and to embark on rewarding hunts for rare and unique specimens. Imagine the satisfaction of finally encountering that shiny Pokémon you've been searching for, the thrill of discovering a subtle gender difference you never noticed before, or the quiet appreciation of observing how a Pokemon's appearance adapts to its environment. These are the moments that make the Pokemon world so captivating, so enduring, and so endlessly rewarding. Collecting variant Pokemon becomes a personalized journey, a way to express your individual style and dedication within the game. It's about more than just completing your Pokédex. It's about curating a collection that reflects your unique taste and appreciation for the finer details of the Pokemon universe. Shiny Pokemon, in particular, have become a status symbol within the Pokemon community, a testament to a trainer's patience, perseverance, and sheer luck. Owning a team of shiny Pokemon is a badge of honor, a way to showcase your commitment to the game and your passion for collecting. The rarity of these Pokemon makes them highly sought after, driving up their value in trades and online communities. The concept of variant Pokemon perfectly encapsulates the core appeal of the Pokemon franchise, the endless pursuit of discovery and the joy of collecting. It's about embracing the subtle variations, appreciating the hidden details, and celebrating the diversity of the Pokemon world. These visual differences, whether they are a shimmering shiny, a distinct gender trait, or a minor adaptation to the environment, contribute to the overall richness and depth of the game. They encourage players to explore every nook and cranny of the Pokemon world, to interact with every Pokemon they encounter, and to develop a keen eye for detail. The hunt for variant Pokemon is a journey of patience and perseverance, a test of a trainer's dedication and commitment. It's a reminder that sometimes the most rewarding experiences are the ones that require the most effort, and when you finally encounter that elusive shiny or discover that subtle gender difference, the feeling of accomplishment is unparalleled. The desire to collect variant Pokemon also fosters a strong sense of community among players. Trainers often share tips and strategies for shiny hunting, trade rare specimens with each other, and celebrate each other's successes. This collaborative spirit strengthens the bonds between players and creates a vibrant and supportive online environment. The existence of variant Pokemon also adds an element of surprise and anticipation to every encounter. You never know when you might stumble upon a rare shiny or discover a new gender difference you hadn't noticed before. This element of chance keeps the game fresh and exciting, encouraging players to continue exploring and interacting with the Pokemon world. In essence, variant Pokemon are a testament to the endless creativity and attention to detail that defines the Pokemon franchise. They are a reminder that even within familiar species, there is always something new to discover, something unique to appreciate, and something special to collect. They're a bit like finding that rare seashell on the beach that no one else noticed, or that perfectly shaped leaf in the forest. They're a quiet, personal victory. So, next time you encounter a Pokemon, take a closer look. You might just discover a hidden variant, a subtle difference that sets it apart from the rest. And who knows, you might just stumble upon that elusive shiny you've been dreaming of. But what happens when a Pokemon can fundamentally shift its very being, altering not just its appearance but its stats, abilities, and even its typing? Prepare yourself, because next we're diving into the fascinating world of alternate forms, where Pokemon can shapeshift into entirely new versions of themselves, like Deoxys changing based on the game it's in, or Rotom inhabiting different appliances. Did you know that some Pokemon aren't fixed entities? They can shift, adapt, and even completely transform depending on the circumstances. We call this ability alternate forms, and it's more than just a cosmetic change. These transformations can impact a Pokemon's stats, its abilities, and even its type, opening up a whole new world of strategic possibilities. It's a fascinating aspect of the Pokemon universe, showing us just how adaptable these creatures can be. It adds a layer of unpredictability to battles, and deepens the lore surrounding these shape-shifting wonders. Deoxys, the DNA Pokemon, is a prime example of this phenomenon. Hailing from space, this psychic-type Pokemon can take on 4 distinct forms, each tailored for a specific purpose. What's really fascinating about Deoxys is that its form isn't just a random occurrence, it's directly tied to the game it's encountered in. In the original Ruby and Sapphire, Deoxys remained in its normal form, but with Fire Red and Leaf Green we saw the introduction of the attack form. Then came the defense form and speed form, each appearing in different games. Think about that for a moment. A Pokémon whose very being is altered by the environment it finds itself in. It's not just adapting to survive, it's fundamentally rewriting its own code. This isn't just a simple type change or a minor stat adjustment, it's a complete overhaul of its capabilities. The attack form, as you might guess, boasts incredible offensive power, making it a glass cannon capable of dishing out massive damage but vulnerable to attacks. The defense form, on the other hand, becomes a nearly impenetrable wall, able to withstand even the most devastating blows. Then there's the speed form, a lightning-fast version that can outpace almost any opponent, striking first and leaving its foes reeling. And finally, the normal form offers a balanced approach, a versatile option for trainers who prefer a more adaptable strategy. But how does Deoxys actually change? Well, in the games, this is often tied to specific items or locations. In some cases, you might need to visit a special meteor or interact with a particular character to trigger the transformation. The anime also explores this, often depicting Deoxys' shifting forms to adapt to different combat situations or environmental threats. It's a testament to the Pokémon's intelligence and its ability to analyze and respond to its surroundings in real time. But Deoxys isn't alone in its shape-shifting prowess. Another iconic example of a Pokémon with alternate forms is Rotom. This electric ghost-type Pokémon has a unique ability to inhabit various appliances, each transformation granting it a new type and appearance. It's like a mischievous spirit possessing everyday objects, turning them into powerful Pokémon. Imagine a washing machine suddenly sparking to life, imbued with electric and water powers. Or a refrigerator unleashing icy blasts thanks to Rotom's chilling influence. That's the reality with Rotom's alternate forms. It's not just about changing its appearance, it's about harnessing the power of these appliances and turning them into weapons. Rotom's original form is an electric ghost type, a mischievous little spirit that zips around causing trouble. But when it inhabits an appliance, things get really interesting. The heat Rotom found inside an oven becomes an electric fire type, capable of unleashing scorching flames. The wash Rotom residing in a washing machine gains the water type, allowing it to douse opponents with powerful water attacks. The frost Rotom chilling inside a refrigerator becomes electric ice, freezing foes solid. The fan Rotom found within an electric fan becomes electric flying, soaring through the air with ease. And finally the Mao Rotom possessing a lawnmower becomes electric grass, slicing through opponents with razor-sharp leaves. Each of these forms not only changes Rotom's type but also grants it a unique move, further enhancing its strategic potential. Heat Rotom learns Overheat, a powerful fire-type attack. Wash Rotom gains Hydro Pump, a high-powered water-type move. Frost Rotom learns Blizzard, an ice-type attack that can freeze opponents solid. Fan Rotom gets Air Slash, a flying-type move that can cause flinching. And Mo Rotom learns Leaf Storm, a powerful grass-type attack. What makes Rotom so fascinating is the sheer versatility it offers. A trainer can adapt Rotom's form to suit their team composition or to counter specific opponents. It's a Pokémon that rewards strategic thinking and adaptability. It's also a testament to the creativity of the Pokémon designers who managed to turn everyday appliances into powerful and unique creatures. Beyond Deoxys and Rotom, there are other Pokémon that exhibit alternate forms, though perhaps not as dramatically. Some Pokémon might change form based on the weather, such as Castform, whose type and appearance shift depending on whether it's sunny, rainy or snowy. Others might change form based on the time of day, such as Lycanroc, which has a midday form and a midnight form. And some might even change form based on the item they're holding, such as Giratina, which can switch between its altered form and its origin form with the help of the Greasius Orb. These alternate forms serve a variety of purposes within the Pokémon world. First and foremost, they add variety to battles. They force trainers to think on their feet and adapt their strategies to account for these shifting forms. You can't just rely on a single plan when your opponent's Pokémon can change its type and abilities on the fly. It keeps battles fresh and exciting. preventing them from becoming stale and predictable. But alternate forms also play a significant role in the lore of the Pokémon world. They help to flesh out the stories and histories of these creatures, giving them depth and complexity. Deoxys's ability to change form based on its environment speaks to its extraterrestrial origins and its adaptability. Rotom's possession of appliances adds a touch of whimsy and mystery to its character. These forms aren't just random occurrences, they're integral parts of the Pokémon's identitas. And what about the trainers who seek to master these Pokémon? Well, it requires a deep understanding of their abilities and limitations. You need to know when to switch forms, which moves to use, and how to best utilize each form's unique strengths. It's a challenge that rewards dedication and strategic thinking. It also fosters a deeper connection between the trainer and the Pokémon, as they work together to unlock their full potential. Alternate forms also allow the Pokémon Company to introduce new and exciting content without creating entirely new Pokémon. It's a way to keep the game fresh and engaging for longtime fans, while also attracting new players. By adding new forms to existing Pokémon, they can explore new typings, abilities, and strategies, without having to completely reinvent the wheel. It's a clever way to expand the Pokémon universe and keep it evolving. So, as you drift off to sleep tonight, consider the Pokémon that can shift and change, adapting to their surroundings and surprising their opponents. Think about the strategic possibilities they offer and the stories they tell, and remember, the world of Pokémon is full of surprises, always evolving and always offering something new to discover. But what happens when a Pokémon's appearance and typing change not because of an inherent ability, but because of the specific environment it inhabits? What if a Pokémon evolved to look and behave differently in a particular region of the world? That, my friend, is the realm of regional forms, where we'll explore region-exclusive redesigns and typings, like the Alolan, Galarian, and Hisuian species, next. Did you know that a Pokémon's appearance can change drastically depending on where it lives? We're not talking about simple colour variations, but full-blown redesigns that reflect the unique environments and cultures of different regions. These are known as regional forms, and they add a whole new layer of depth to the Pokémon world. These aren't just cosmetic tweaks. Regional forms often boast completely different typings and abilities compared to their original counterparts. Think of it as Pokémon adapting to survive and thrive in specific ecosystems, showcasing the incredible diversity found across the many regions we've come to know and love. The concept of regional forms was formally introduced in Generation 7 with the Alola region. This tropical paradise, based on Hawaii, presented a perfect opportunity to reimagine classic Pokémon in exciting new ways. What better way to demonstrate environmental adaptation than by showing us Pokémon that have adapted to the unique volcanic landscape and oceanic climate? Alolan Exeggutor, for example, is a palm tree Pokémon that has grown to an enormous height, thanks to the abundant sunlight in Alola. It gained a dragon typing, reflecting its tropical origins and towering stature. Then there's Alolan Raichu, a psychic's electric type that surfs on its tail using psychic powers, drawing energy from the region's unique magnetic fields. How cool is that? But Alola wasn't the end of the line for regional variants. Generation 8 brought us to the Galar region, inspired by Great Britain, and with it came another wave of fascinating regional forms. Galarian Weezing, for instance, became a poison fairy type, sporting top hats made of smog and purifying the air around it. This clever design reflects Britain's industrial history and its modern focus on environmentalism. And who could forget Galarian Ponyta, a psychic-type unicorn with flowing, pastel-coloured mane and tail. It's a complete departure from the original fire-type Ponyta, showcasing the creative freedom that regional forms allow. Then we have Hisuian forms, introduced in Pokémon Legends, Arceus, set in the ancient Hisui region, which would eventually become modern-day Sinnoh. These forms show us how Pokémon adapted to the harsh, untamed wilderness of the past. Hisuian Growlithe, a fire rock type, sports a fluffy mane and a more rugged appearance, reflecting its role as a guardian in the ancient world. One of the most striking examples is Hisuian Zorak, a Normalos ghost type with a hauntingly beautiful design. Its flowing white fur and sorrowful expression tell a story of hardship and resilience, hinting at the tragic events that shaped its existence in the Hisui region. These forms provide a glimpse into the ecological and cultural history of the Pokémon world, enriching the lore in a way that simple type changes never could. But why are regional forms so compelling? What is it about them that captures our imaginations and keeps us coming back for more? Part of the appeal lies in the surprise factor. We think we know a Pokémon, we've battled with it, maybe even raised it from an egg. Then suddenly, we encounter a completely different version, a twisted reflection of what we thought we knew. This subversion of expectations creates a sense of wonder and excitement. It's like meeting an old friend who's undergone a dramatic transformation, sparking curiosity and prompting us to re-evaluate our understanding of that Pokémon. Regional forms also add a sense of realism to the Pokémon world. They demonstrate that Pokémon are not static entities, but rather dynamic organisms that evolve and adapt to their surroundings. This ecological adaptation makes the Pokémon world feel more alive and believable. It's a subtle reminder that even in a world filled with fantastical creatures, the principles of natural selection still apply. Beyond the biological aspect, regional forms often reflect the culture and history of their respective regions. Galarian Weezing's top hats, for example, are a clear nod to British industrial history. Alolan Marowak's fire dancing is inspired by Polynesian fire knife dancing. These cultural references add depth and richness to the Pokémon world, making each region feel distinct and memorable. The introduction of regional forms has had a significant impact on competitive battling as well. These forms often have different stats, abilities, and move pools compared to their original counterparts, creating new strategic possibilities. Alolan Ninetales, for example, is a popular choice in competitive battling due to its snow warning ability, which sets up hail upon entering the battlefield. Galarian Darmanitan, in its Zen mode, becomes an incredibly powerful Ice-type attacker. These variations force players to adapt their strategies and team compositions, keeping the metagame fresh and exciting. Think about Alolan Sandslash, trading its ground typing for Ice and Steel, becoming resistant to Ice-type moves that would otherwise obliterate the original. This single change can completely alter its role in battle, turning a liability into an asset. Regional forms also encourage exploration and discovery. Trainers are eager to seek out these unique variations, adding a new layer to the core gameplay loop. The thrill of encountering a regional form in the wild, knowing that it's a rare and special find, is a powerful motivator for exploration. It's a reward for venturing off the beaten path, for immersing yourself in the unique environments of each region. Consider the case of Alolan Vulpix, a beautiful Ice-type Pokémon found on the snowy peaks of Mount Lanakila. Its elegant design and unique typing make it a highly sought-after Pokémon, encouraging players to brave the harsh conditions of the mountain in search of this elusive creature. Another interesting aspect of regional forms is their impact on breeding. In some cases, breeding a regional form with a Ditto will produce eggs of the regional form. This allows trainers to obtain these unique variations even if they're not native to their current region. However, in other cases, you might need to hold an Everstone to guarantee that the offspring will inherit the regional form. This adds a layer of complexity to the breeding process, encouraging players to experiment and learn the intricacies of each regional form. The introduction of regional forms has also sparked a lot of fan theories and speculation. Why do some Pokémon have regional forms while others don't? What factors determine which Pokémon will receive a regional form in a particular region? These questions have fueled countless discussions and debates among Pokémon fans, adding to the overall excitement and engagement surrounding the concept. Perhaps some Pokémon are more adaptable than others, possessing a genetic predisposition to evolve in response to environmental pressures, or maybe certain regions have unique evolutionary mechanisms that trigger the formation of regional forms. The possibilities are endless, and the lack of definitive answers only adds to the mystique. And let's not forget the artistic aspect of regional forms. The designers at Game Freak have consistently delivered stunning and creative redesigns that capture the essence of each region. From the vibrant colours of Alolan Pokémon to the steampunk aesthetic of Galarian forms, each regional form is a work of art in its own right. The attention to detail is truly remarkable. The designers don't just slap a new coat of paint on an existing Pokémon. They carefully consider the environment, the culture and the history of the region, incorporating these elements into the design in subtle yet meaningful ways. This level of artistry elevates regional forms beyond simple variations, transforming them into unique and memorable Pokémon. Regional forms have also opened up new avenues for storytelling within the Pokémon world. They allow the developers to explore the history and culture of each region in greater depth, adding layers of complexity to the narrative. Hisuian Zoroark's tragic backstory, for example, provides a poignant commentary on the challenges faced by early settlers in the Hisui region. These stories add emotional weight to the Pokémon world, making it feel more relatable and engaging. They remind us that Pokémon are not just creatures to be caught and battled, but rather living beings with their own stories and struggles. So, as you drift off to sleep tonight, consider the incredible diversity of the Pokémon world. A world where even the most familiar creatures can surprise us with their ability to adapt and evolve. Think about the hidden stories behind each regional form, the cultural influences that shaped their designs, and the ecological pressures that drove their evolution. It's a world that continues to evolve and expand with each new generation, offering endless possibilities for discovery and wonder. And speaking of surprising adaptations and unexpected resemblances, are you ready to discover Pokémon that look alike, but are actually completely unrelated? Prepare to have your mind blown as we delve into the fascinating world of convergent species. Before we dive deeper into this incredible journey, I'm curious, where in the world are you watching this from? Drop a comment below and let our global community know. And if you're finding this as mind-blowing as I am, hit that like button to help more people discover this story. Ever notice how some Pokémon just look like they should be related but aren't? It's a fascinating corner of the Pokémon world, and it's all thanks to something called convergent evolution. This concept, introduced in Generation 9, throws a delightful curveball into our understanding of Pokémon lineages. We're talking about Pokémon that bear striking resemblances to one another, not because of shared ancestry, but because they've adapted to similar environments and lifestyles. It's like the universe playing a visual joke, a testament to the power of natural selection to shape creatures along parallel paths. The poster children for this phenomenon? Wiglet and Wugtrio. At first glance, you might mistake them for regional variants of Diglett and Dugtrio. The resemblance is uncanny. But peel back the surface, and you'll find that these Pokémon are as unrelated as a Skitty and a Wailord. So, how does this happen? Well, imagine two completely different Pokémon species living in similar habitats. Maybe they both burrow in the sand, hunting for small prey. Over countless generations, natural selection favours traits that make them better burrowers and hunters. Perhaps a streamlined body shape, sensitive whiskers for detecting movement, or camouflage that blends seamlessly with the sand. Now, fast forward a few millennia, what you're left with are two Pokémon that, despite their different origins, have converged on similar physical characteristics. They've essentially arrived at the same solution to the same problem, independently of one another. This is convergent evolution in a nutshell. It's mimicry, but not in the traditional sense. It's not one Pokémon actively trying to imitate another for protection or hunting. Instead, it's a more passive form of mimicry, driven by the demands of their shared ecology. Wiglet and Wugtrio didn't set out to look like Diglett and Dugtrio. They simply evolved to thrive in their specific environment, and that environment happened to favour a similar body plan. This adds a surprising layer of biological realism to the Pokémon world. It reminds us that evolution isn't always a linear progression. It's a messy, unpredictable process shaped by a complex interplay of genes, environment, and chance. And sometimes, that process leads to remarkably similar outcomes in completely unrelated species. Think about it. In the real world, Sharks and dolphins share a similar body shape despite being a fish and a mammal respectively. Birds and bats both have wings, but their evolutionary paths diverged millions of years ago. These are classic examples of convergent evolution, and they highlight the ingenuity of nature to find optimal solutions to environmental challenges. The introduction of convergent species in Pokémon is more than just a neat design choice. It subtly enriches the game's lore, suggesting a deeper, more complex world where ecological pressures can drive unexpected evolutionary outcomes. It encourages us to look beyond superficial similarities and consider the underlying forces that shape the Pokémon we know and love. But the story doesn't end with Wiglet and Wugtrio. The concept of convergent evolution opens up a whole new realm of possibilities for future Pokémon designs. What other surprising similarities might we discover between seemingly unrelated species? What other ecological niches might drive Pokémon to evolve along convergent paths? Consider the vastness of the Pokémon world, with its diverse array of habitats, from scorching deserts to icy mountains, from lush forests to deep oceans. Each of these environments presents unique challenges and opportunities, and each could potentially give rise to convergent species. Imagine, for example, two different Pokémon species evolving to fill the role of a filter feeder in a murky swamp. One might be a water-type Pokémon with specialized gills, while the other could be a grass-type Pokémon with root-like structures that absorb nutrients from the water. Despite their different origins, both Pokémon could end up with similar physical adaptations, such as a large mouth for sifting through the water and a flattened body shape for navigating tight spaces. Or perhaps two different Pokémon species evolved to become apex predators in a dense jungle. One might be a reptilian Pokémon with powerful jaws and sharp claws, while the other could be an avian Pokémon with keen eyesight and a piercing beak. Both Pokémon would need to be stealthy, agile, and capable of taking down large prey, and this could lead to the development of similar hunting strategies and physical adaptations. The possibilities are endless, and that's what makes the concept of convergent evolution so exciting. It allows the Pokémon designers to create Pokémon that are both familiar and surprising, Pokémon that challenge our assumptions about evolutionary relationships and force us to look at the Pokémon world in a new light. It also raises some intriguing questions about the nature of Pokémon evolution itself. Are there certain evolutionary pathways that are more likely to lead to convergence than others? Are there certain environments that are particularly conducive to convergent evolution? And what role does chance play in the whole process? These are questions that Pokémon researchers and theorists could spend years exploring, and that's part of the appeal. The Pokémon world is not just a game, it's a rich, complex and ever-evolving ecosystem that offers endless opportunities for discovery and exploration. And convergent species are just one piece of that puzzle. They're a reminder that evolution is a continuous process, that the Pokémon today are the product of millions of years of adaptation and change, and that the future of Pokémon evolution is full of surprises. So, the next time you encounter a Pokémon that looks suspiciously familiar, take a moment to consider the possibility of convergent evolution. You might be surprised to discover that two seemingly related Pokémon are actually distant cousins, brought together by the forces of nature. The introduction of convergent species truly enriches the Pokémon universe. It makes the world feel more realistic, more scientifically grounded, and frankly, more interesting. It encourages us to think critically about the relationships between Pokémon and their environments, and it sets the stage for even more fascinating discoveries in future generations. Who knows what other evolutionary surprises await us? What other seemingly unrelated Pokémon might share hidden similarities, driven by the relentless pressures of natural selection? Only time will tell. For now, we can appreciate the beauty and ingenuity of convergent evolution, as exemplified by the curious case of Wiglet and Wugtrio. They're a testament to the power of nature to find optimal solutions, even in the most unexpected ways. They're a reminder that evolution is not always about linear progression, but about adaptation, innovation, and the constant quest for survival. And they're a delightful addition to the Pokémon world, adding a touch of realism and intrigue to a world already brimming with wonder and excitement. It's a subtle yet significant shift in how we perceive the relationships between Pokémon. It's this attention to detail, this willingness to explore complex scientific concepts that sets the Pokémon world apart. It's not just a game, it's a living, breathing ecosystem, constantly evolving and surprising us with its ingenuity. And as we continue to explore this world, we can expect to encounter even more examples of convergent evolution, more instances of seemingly unrelated Pokémon sharing striking similarities. Each new discovery will deepen our understanding of the Pokémon world and enrich our appreciation for the power of natural selection. But the Pokémon world isn't just about evolution and biology, it's also about battles, friendships, and the bonds we forge with our Pokémon partners. And sometimes, those bonds can lead to transformations that defy explanation. Have you ever witnessed a Pokémon undergo a sudden dramatic shift in form, unleashing power beyond your wildest dreams? Prepare yourself, because next we're diving into the realm of temporary transformations with Mega Evolution and Primal Reversion, where Mega Stones, Keystones, and ancient power collide to reshape the very fabric of battle. Have you ever witnessed a Pokémon seemingly transcend its limits in the heat of battle, radiating power beyond anything you thought possible? That's the essence of Mega Evolution and Primal Reversion, temporary transformations that unlock a Pokémon's hidden potential. These aren't your typical evolutions, they're strategic maneuvers, bursts of power carefully unleashed. Mega Evolution in particular is a fascinating dance between trainer and Pokémon. It requires a Mega Stone, a unique gem resonating with a specific Pokémon species, and a Keystone, a special item held by the trainer. Think of it as a conduit, a focal point for the bond between them. It's not just about power, it's about connection. The process itself is visually stunning. The Pokémon is enveloped in a swirling vortex of energy, its form contorting and reshaping as it ascends to a new level of being. Familiar features become exaggerated, new details emerge, and the overall aura is one of overwhelming strength. What you're witnessing is a temporary shift, a strategic gamble to seize victory. But it comes at a cost. Only one Pokémon per team can Mega Evolve during a battle, forcing trainers to carefully consider when and where to unleash this incredible power. Primal Reversion, on the other hand, takes a slightly different approach. It's a transformation rooted in ancient power, a connection to the primordial energy that shaped the Pokémon world. Instead of relying on a trainer's keystone, Primal Reversion is triggered by a specific item, usually an orb, that awakens the Pokémon's latent abilities. Think of it as tapping into a raw, untamed force. Unlike Mega Evolution, Primal Reversion is often depicted as a more instinctual transformation. The Pokémon doesn't need a trainer to initiate it. It's an inherent ability that manifests under the right circumstances. It's a return to a more primal state, a connection to the ancient energies that shape the world. Both Mega Evolution and Primal Reversion result in significant stat boosts. Attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed can all receive a substantial increase, turning a formidable Pokémon into an absolute powerhouse. Imagine a Charizard, already a fearsome fire type, becoming Mega Charizard Y, its special attack skyrocketing to devastating levels. Or picture a Garchomp known for its blistering speed and attack, transforming into Mega Garchomp, its already impressive stats pushed to the absolute limit. These aren't mere incremental improvements, they're game-changing transformations. But the stat boosts are only part of the story. Mega Evolution and Primal Reversion can also alter a Pokémon's type. This can create strategic advantages, allowing trainers to exploit weaknesses and resist attacks that would have been devastating in the Pokémon's original form. Consider Mega Charizard X, which gains the Dragon type in addition to its Fire type, opening up new offensive and defensive possibilities. This type change can completely redefine a Pokémon's role in battle, forcing opponents to reassess their strategies on the fly. The addition of these transformations adds a whole new layer of strategic depth to Pokémon battles. It's not just about type matchups and stat advantages anymore, it's about timing, prediction, and resource management. When do you unleash your Mega Evolution? Which Pokémon do you choose to transform? How do you account for the potential type changes and stat boosts? These are the questions that trainers must grapple with in order to master the art of Mega Evolution and primal reversion. Think of it like a chess match, where each Mega Evolution is a calculated sacrifice, a powerful move that can swing the momentum of the game. But unlike chess, where the pieces remain static, Pokémon can dynamically transform, adapting to the evolving circumstances of the battle. This adds an element of unpredictability and excitement, keeping both trainers and spectators on the edge of their seats. Mega Evolution and primal reversion aren't just about raw power, they're also about the bond between trainer and Pokémon. The act of Mega Evolving requires a deep connection, a shared understanding that transcends mere obedience. It's a testament to the power of friendship and the potential that can be unlocked when two beings work together in perfect harmony. You can almost feel the energy crackling in the air as the transformation occurs, a visual representation of the unbreakable bond between trainer and Pokémon. Imagine the countless hours spent training, battling, and building trust. All of that culminates in this single, transformative moment. It's a reward for dedication, a symbol of the unwavering commitment between trainer and Pokémon. And in that brief, shining moment, they become something more than just trainer and partner. They become a unified force, capable of achieving anything. The strategic layer added by Mega Evolution and Primal Reversion is undeniable. It forces trainers to think critically about their team composition, their battle strategies, and their resource management. No longer can you simply rely on brute force or type advantages. You must also consider the potential impact of these transformations. For example, do you save your Mega Evolution for a late game sweep, or do you use it early to gain a decisive advantage? Do you focus on boosting your offensive stats, or do you prioritize defensive capabilities? Do you risk a type change that could leave you vulnerable to new attacks, or do you play it safe and maintain your original typing? These are the questions that separate the casual trainers from the true masters. The ability to anticipate your opponent's moves, to predict their strategies, and to react accordingly is essential for success in the world of Mega Evolution and Primal Reversion. And it's not just about individual battles, it's also about the overall metagame. The introduction of Mega Evolution and Primal Reversion has fundamentally altered the competitive landscape, creating new archetypes, strategies, and counter-strategies. Certain Pokémon, once considered to be niche or underpowered, have suddenly become top-tier threats thanks to their Mega Evolutions. Others have seen their roles redefined, adapting to the changing demands of the metagame. It's a constant arms race, with trainers constantly searching for new ways to exploit the potential of these transformations. But beyond the strategic considerations and the competitive implications, there's something truly awe-inspiring about witnessing a Mega Evolution or Primal Reversion in action. It's a spectacle of raw power, a visual testament to the boundless potential that lies within each and every Pokémon. The swirling energy, the dramatic transformations, the sheer intensity of the moment, it's all captivating. It's a reminder that the world of Pokémon is full of surprises, that there's always more to discover, and that the bond between trainer and Pokémon is a force to be reckoned with. So, as you drift off to sleep, think about the strategic brilliance, the raw power, and the unwavering bond that define Mega Evolution and Primal Reversion. These temporary transformations have forever changed the landscape of Pokémon battles, adding a layer of depth, complexity, and excitement that continues to captivate trainers around the world. And just imagine what it would be like to see a Pokémon grow to an enormous size, unleashing incredible power through something called Dynamax or Gigantamax. Imagine your favourite Pokémon, but colossal, towering over the battlefield. That's the essence of Dynamax and Gigantamax, two phenomenal transformations introduced in Generation 8. These mechanics don't just make Pokémon bigger, they completely change the dynamic of battles. Let's dive into how these transformations work and what makes them so visually impressive. At its core, Dynamax is a phenomenon where Pokémon grow to an enormous size during battle. This isn't just a visual change though. Dynamax Pokémon also receive a significant boost to their HP, making them incredibly durable. Think of it as a temporary power-up that can turn the tide of a seemingly lost battle. Any Pokémon can Dynamax, adding a layer of strategic depth to team building and combat. Gigantamax, on the other hand, is a special form of Dynamax. While it shares the size increase and HP boost of regular Dynamax, Gigantamax Pokémon also gain a unique appearance and access to a signature G-Max move. These moves are often more powerful and have additional effects, setting them apart from standard attacks. Not every Pokémon can Gigantamax, which makes those that can even more valuable and sought after. These mechanics were first introduced in the Galar region, and they quickly became a defining feature of Pokémon Sword and Shield. The concept of Pokémon growing to gigantic proportions added a new level of excitement to battles, especially in max raid battles, where trainers team up to take down Dynamax and Gigantamax Pokémon. Now, let's delve a little deeper into the specifics. Dynamaxing is relatively straightforward. During a battle in a power spot location, trainers can use the Dynamax band to transform one of their Pokémon. This transformation lasts for 3 turns, during which the Pokémon becomes a behemoth with increased HP and access to max moves. Max moves are powered-up versions of the Pokémon's original moves, and they often have additional effects, like setting up weather conditions or terrain. This can dramatically influence the course of the battle, giving trainers a significant advantage. The ability to Dynamax any Pokémon also means that trainers have to consider which member of their team will benefit the most from this temporary boost. Gigantamaxing is a bit more complex. Only specific Pokémon are capable of Gigantamaxing, and they have unique forms that reflect their individual personalities. For instance, Gigantamax Charizard takes on a fiery swirling appearance, while Gigantamax Pikachu becomes a chubby retro version of itself. The visual differences are just the beginning. Gigantamax Pokémon also have access to G-Max moves, which are even more powerful and have more unique effects than max moves. For example, Gigantamax Pikachu's G-Max Volt Crash can paralyze all opponents, while Gigantamax Charizard's G-Max Wildfire traps opponents in a fiery vortex. The introduction of Dynamax and Gigantamax brought a new level of visual spectacle to Pokémon battles. Seeing these colossal creatures clash is truly breathtaking, and the strategic depth added by max moves and G-Max moves makes battles even more engaging. But how do you obtain these powerful forms? Dynamax Pokémon are commonly found in max raid battles, where trainers can team up to defeat them and have a chance to catch them. Gigantamax Pokémon are rarer and often require special events or encounters to obtain. This scarcity adds to their value and makes them highly sought after by collectors and competitive players alike. The impact of Dynamax and Gigantamax on the competitive scene cannot be overstated. These mechanics have completely reshaped the way battles are played, forcing trainers to adapt their strategies and team compositions. The ability to Dynamax any Pokémon means that even seemingly weaker Pokémon can become formidable threats, adding an element of unpredictability to battles. Gigantamax Pokémon, with their unique appearances and G-Max moves, have become staples of competitive teams. Their powerful moves and strategic advantages make them valuable assets in any battle. However, the limited availability of Gigantamax Pokémon also means that trainers have to carefully consider which ones to use and how to best utilize their abilities. One of the most interesting aspects of Dynamax and Gigantamax is how they tie into the lore of the Galar region. The power spots where these transformations occur are said to be locations where energy flows freely, allowing Pokémon to tap into their full potential. This connection to the environment adds a layer of depth to the mechanics and makes them feel like a natural part of the Pokémon world. The introduction of these mechanics also raised some interesting questions about the nature of Pokémon and their relationship to their environment. Are Pokémon naturally capable of growing to enormous sizes, or is this a result of external forces? What does it mean for a Pokémon to Gigantamax, and how does it affect their personality and abilities? These are questions that have sparked countless discussions among fans and theorists, and they highlight the enduring appeal of the Pokémon franchise. The ability to constantly introduce new mechanics and concepts keeps the world fresh and exciting, and it encourages players to think critically about the nature of these incredible creatures. Beyond the competitive scene and the lore implications, Dynamax and Gigantamax also have a significant impact on the overall experience of playing Pokémon Sword and Shield. The ability to transform your Pokémon into colossal versions of themselves is simply fun, and it adds a sense of scale and excitement to battles that was previously missing. The visual spectacle of seeing these gigantic creatures clash is truly something to behold, and it's a testament to the creativity and artistry of the Pokémon developers. The designs of the Gigantamax forms are particularly impressive as they manage to capture the essence of each Pokémon, while also adding a unique twist. Whether you're a competitive player, a collector, or simply a fan of the series, Dynamax and Gigantamax offer something for everyone. These mechanics have added a new layer of depth and excitement to the Pokémon world, and they've helped to keep the franchise fresh and engaging for millions of players around the world. So the next time you find yourself in the Galar region, be sure to take advantage of the opportunity to Dynamax or Gigantamax your Pokémon. You might just be surprised at the power and potential that lies within these colossal creatures. You'll find that these mechanics create visually impressive battles unlike any you've seen before. But the wonders of the Pokémon world don't end there. What about those creatures shrouded in mystery, revered in legend? In our next chapter, we'll be exploring the powerful and enigmatic world of legendary Pokémon. These rare beings are often central to the lore and box art of their respective games, boasting high stats and abilities that set them, apart from the rest, legendary Pokémon. The very name conjures images of power, mystery, and the awe-inspiring forces that shape the Pokémon world. But what truly separates these creatures from the rest? It's more than just high stats. It's their integral role in the grand tapestry of Pokémon lore. Think about it. How many times have you seen a legendary Pokémon gracing the cover of a game, its image instantly recognizable, a symbol of the adventure that awaits? That's no accident. These Pokémon aren't just powerful, they are central to the narrative. They are the key to understanding the very fabric of their world. Their stats, often hovering in the impressive 670 to 680 range, certainly speak to their power. But numbers alone don't tell the whole story. It's the stories behind. The numbers that truly captivate us. These Pokémon aren't just strong, they're often forces of nature, beings of immense power that can shape the very world around them. Consider the restrictions often placed on their use in battles. Have you ever wondered why you can't just fill your entire team with legendaries and steamroll through the competition? It's because their power is often deemed too great, too game-breaking. They are meant to be respected, even feared, not simply collected and exploited for their strength. Dialga, the Pokémon that controls time, is a perfect example. Imagine the responsibility, the sheer weight of influencing the flow of moments, of epochs, of entire timelines. This isn't just about winning battles, it's about maintaining the delicate balance of existence. And then there's Lunala, the emissary of the moon, a creature of ethereal beauty and immense psychic power. These aren't just Pokémon, they are embodiments of cosmic forces, but where do these legends come from? What makes them so special? The answer often lies in the creation myths and ancient stories passed down through generations within the Pokémon world. These Pokémon are typically tied to the very genesis of their world, to the events that shape the land, the seas, and the skies. They are the cornerstones upon which entire civilizations are built. Think about the legendaries of the Sinnoh region. Dialga and Palkia, embodiments of time and space, are said to have been born from the same egg, their existence intertwined with the very beginning of the universe. Their battles, their conflicts could unravel the fabric of reality itself. This isn't just a game, it's a glimpse into a world where the stakes are impossibly high. And what about the legendary birds of Kanto? Articuno, Zapdos and Moltres. They represent the harsh, untamed forces of nature, the power of ice, electricity and fire unleashed upon the world. They are not simply creatures to be captured. They are forces to be reckoned with, embodiments of the elements themselves. The lore surrounding these Pokémon is often intricate and deeply rooted in the cultures of the regions they inhabit. Legends are whispered in hushed tones, stories are passed down through generations, and ancient temples are erected in their honor. These Pokémon aren't just powerful creatures, they are deities, revered and respected by those who understand their significance. Consider the legendary beasts of Johto, Raikou, Entei, and Suicune. They were born from the ashes of the burned tower, each representing a different aspect of the tragedy. The lightning that struck the tower, the flames that consumed it, and the rain that extinguished the inferno. Their existence is a constant reminder of the power of nature and the consequences of human actions. And what about the Regis? Regirock, Regis, and Registeel. These colossal Pokémon sealed away in ancient ruins represent the Stone Age, the Ice Age, and the Iron Age. They are living relics of a bygone era, a testament to the enduring power of the past. Unlocking their secrets requires not just strength, but also knowledge and understanding of the history they embody. The stories surrounding legendary Pokémon often serve as cautionary tales, reminders of the delicate balance between humanity and nature. They teach us about the importance of respect, responsibility, and the consequences of unchecked power. They are not simply creatures to be collected, they are guardians of the natural world, protectors of the delicate ecosystems that sustain life. Think about the lake guardians of Sinnoh, Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf. They represent knowledge, emotion, and willpower, the very foundations of the human spirit. Their presence is a constant reminder of the importance of these qualities and the potential for both good and evil that resides within each of us. Legendary Pokémon often play a crucial role in maintaining the balance of their respective regions. They are the guardians of the natural order, protectors of the environment, and keepers of ancient secrets. Their actions, their choices, can have profound consequences for the world around them. Consider the Tau trio of Unova, Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem. They represent truth, ideals, and the void, the very forces that drive human ambition and shape the course of history. Their conflict is a reflection of the eternal struggle between these opposing forces and the importance of finding balance between them. And what about the guardian deities of Alola, Tapu Koko, Tapu Lele, Tapu Bulu, and Tapu Fini? They protect the islands from harm, each representing a different aspect of the natural world, the land, the sea, the forests, and the skies. Their presence is a constant reminder of the importance of respecting the environment and preserving the natural beauty of the islands. The legendary Pokémon aren't simply powerful creatures, they are symbols of hope, resilience, and the enduring power of the human spirit. They inspire us to strive for greatness, to overcome adversity, and to believe in the impossible. Their stories resonate with us because they reflect our own struggles, our own triumphs, and our own hopes for the future. These Pokémon are often shrouded in mystery, their origins obscured by the mists of time, but that mystery is part of their allure, a constant reminder that there is still so much to discover, so much to learn about the world around us. They challenge us to question our assumptions, to explore the unknown, and to embrace the wonders of the natural world. Consider the swords of justice, Cobalion, Terrakion, Varishian, and Keldeo. They represent courage, strength, and compassion, the very qualities that define true heroism. Their story is a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope for redemption and the possibility of a brighter future. And what about the forces of nature, Tornadus, Thundurus, Landorus, and Enamorus? They represent the raw, untamed power of the elements, the forces that can both create and destroy. Their existence is a reminder of the importance of respecting the power of nature and the consequences of our actions. The impact of legendary Pokémon extends far beyond the games themselves. They have become cultural icons, symbols of the Pokémon franchise, and sources of inspiration for millions of people around the world. Their images adorn everything from clothing to toys to artwork, a testament to their enduring popularity and their profound impact on popular culture. Think about the box art. These aren't just marketing tools, they are works of art, carefully crafted to capture the essence of the game and the spirit of the legendary Pokémon that grace their covers. They are a visual representation of the adventure that awaits, a promise of excitement, discovery, and the chance to become a true Pokémon master. Legendary Pokémon aren't just creatures to be caught, they are companions on a journey, symbols of hope, and reminders of the enduring power of the human spirit. They are the embodiment of the magic and wonder that make the Pokémon world so captivating. But what about the Pokémon that don't quite reach the status of legendaries, but still hold immense power and significance? Next time, we'll explore the realm of sub-legendary Pokémon, slightly weaker than full legendaries, often found in groups or trios like Latios and Landorus. These Pokémon still have very powerful and have significant roles in the story, often representing natural forces or elements. What if legendary power came in a slightly smaller package? That's the realm of sub-legendary Pokémon. They might not be gracing the covers of video games, but they possess incredible strength and often play vital roles in the world's delicate balance. These aren't your run-of-the-mill Pokémon. We're talking about creatures that stand a cut above the rest, just a little less legendary than the legendaries themselves. Think of them as the lieutenants, the powerful right hands, the guardians of specific domains, or the key players in ancient prophecies. One of the defining characteristics of sub-legendary Pokémon is that they're often found in groups. While a legendary Pokémon might be a singular entity, a unique being in all of existence, sub-legendaries frequently appear in duos, trios, or even larger formations. This grouping suggests a shared purpose, a connection that binds them together in the grand scheme of things. Take Latios and Latias for example. These dragon and psychic type Pokémon are known for their incredible speed and their ability to refract light, making them nearly invisible. They are intensely connected to one another, almost like siblings protecting each other and working together. Their bond is so strong that they can even combine their powers to create a powerful defensive field. They exemplify the power and grace that define the sub-legendary category. Or consider the forces of nature trio, Landorus, Thundurus, and Tornadus. These Pokémon represent the raw, untamed power of the elements. Landorus embodies the land and fertility, Thundurus controls thunder and lightning, and Tornadus commands the wind. They are forces to be reckoned with, capable of unleashing devastating attacks and reshaping the landscape. Their interactions with one another can be volatile, but they ultimately serve to maintain the natural order. The slightly lesser power compared to full legendaries doesn't mean they're weak, not by any stretch of the imagination. Sub-legendaries often possess stats that rival, or even exceed those of many fully evolved Pokémon. Their move pools are typically diverse and powerful, allowing them to adapt to a wide range of battle situations. They are more than capable of holding their own against even the most formidable opponents. What truly sets them apart is their significance within the Pokémon world's lore. Sub-legendary Pokémon are frequently intertwined with the history, mythology, and ecology of their respective regions. They might be guardians of ancient ruins, protectors of sacred forests, or the embodiment of natural forces that shape the environment. Think about the legendary birds, Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. While often considered legendary, their stats place them a little below the main box art legendaries. They are, however, vital to the balance of nature, representing ice, lightning, and fire, respectively. Their presence affects the climate and the ecosystem, and their interactions can have profound consequences. They are not just powerful Pokémon, they are integral parts of the world's fabric. Another compelling example is the Swords of Justice, Cobalion, Terrakion, Virizion, and Keldeo. Inspired by the Three Musketeers, these Pokémon embody the virtues of courage, strength, and justice. They protect Pokémon from human threats and stand as symbols of righteousness. Their individual skills and personalities complement each other, making them a formidable team. They demonstrate the unwavering dedication and selflessness that characterize many sub-legendary Pokémon. The Lake Guardians, Yuzi, Mesprit, and Azelf are another excellent illustration of the sub-legendary role. These psychic-type Pokémon embody knowledge, emotion, and willpower, respectively. They are said to have given these qualities to humanity, shaping the very essence of human consciousness. Their presence is subtle but profound, influencing the thoughts and feelings of people throughout the region. They are a testament to the power of the mind and the importance of emotional intelligence. Often, these Pokémon represent natural forces or elements, acting as guardians or manifestations of specific aspects of the environment. This connection to the natural world gives them a sense of purpose and responsibility. They are not just powerful creatures, they are stewards of the land, entrusted with the task of maintaining balance and harmony. Consider Regirock, Regiseia, and Registeel, the legendary titans. These Pokémon are said to have been created by Regigigas, a colossal Pokémon that shaped the continents. Regirock is made of rocks from different geological eras. Regis is encased in ice that never melts, and Registeel is composed of a mysterious metal that is harder than any known substance. They represent the enduring power of the Earth, the coldness of the Ice Age, and the strength of human ingenuity. Another fascinating aspect of sub-legendary Pokémon is their connection to specific locations or events. They might be tied to ancient ruins, hidden grottos, or sites of great historical significance. Their presence often enhances the mystique and allure of these places, drawing trainers and adventurers from far and wide. For instance, the lunar duo Cresselia and Darkrai embody opposing forces of dreams and nightmares. Cresselia brings peaceful sleep and pleasant dreams, while Darkrai induces terrifying nightmares. Their eternal conflict plays out in the realm of dreams, affecting the well-being of countless individuals. They represent the duality of human experience, the constant interplay between light and darkness. The search for sub-legendary Pokémon can be a thrilling adventure in itself. They are often hidden in remote locations, guarded by challenging puzzles, or only appear under specific conditions. Finding them requires patience, perseverance, and a keen understanding of the game's mechanics. The reward, however, is well worth the effort. Catching a sub-legendary Pokémon is a significant accomplishment for any trainer. It demonstrates their skill, dedication, and knowledge of the game. These Pokémon can be invaluable assets in battles, providing a strategic advantage against even the most formidable opponents. They are not just powerful additions to a team, they are symbols of mastery and accomplishment. Sub-legendary Pokémon add depth and complexity to the Pokémon world. They are not just powerful creatures to be caught and battled, they are integral parts of the lore, mythology, and ecology of their respective regions. Their stories are intertwined with the history of the Pokémon world, and their presence shapes the lives of countless individuals. They often serve as a bridge between the ordinary and the extraordinary, reminding us that even in a world filled with fantastical creatures, there is always room for wonder and discovery. They embody the spirit of adventure, the pursuit of knowledge, and the unwavering dedication to protecting what is right. So, the next time you encounter a sub-legendary Pokémon, take a moment to appreciate its significance. Recognize its role in the grand scheme of things, and acknowledge its power and grace. These creatures are not just Pokémon, they are symbols of hope, courage, and the enduring spirit of the Pokémon world. Their existence hints at even grander, more elusive beings. What other secrets are hidden within the world of Pokémon, tucked away in the most remote corners of the map, or perhaps, even more discreetly, in the very fabric of reality itself? That's the question that brings us ever closer to the realm of mythical Pokémon, rarer than legendaries, usually event exclusive, boasting average stats around 600. Get ready to delve into the stories of Mew, Arceus, Hooper, and more as we explore the legends surrounding mythical Pokémon. Mythical Pokémon, they're not just rare, they're whispers in the wind, legends barely believed. Think of them as the Pokémon that exist just outside the realm of the everyday trainer. While legendary Pokémon often grace the covers of games or play pivotal roles in major storylines, mythical Pokémon are different. They're the secrets that require a special key to unlock. Typically, you won't find them wandering in the tall grass or lurking in a cave. Mythical Pokémon are almost always event exclusive. This means they're distributed during special promotions, often tied to movie releases or anniversaries. Remember the excitement when you finally got your hands on that event-exclusive Pokémon? That's the feeling that defines the mystique of these creatures. And their stats. Mythical Pokémon boast an impressive average base stat total of around 600. This puts them in a similar power tier as some legendary Pokémon, making them formidable additions to any team. But their strength isn't just about raw power, it's about the aura of exclusivity and wonder that surrounds them. Mew, Arceus and Hooper are prime examples of this fascinating category. Each one carries a unique story, a special event tied to its existence, and a power that sets it apart. Let's start with Mew. Often considered the ancestor of all Pokémon, Mew is shrouded in mystery. Its DNA is said to contain the genetic code of every Pokémon, making it a fascinating and powerful being. The story goes that Mew was discovered in the jungles of Guyana, South America, a place steeped in its own real-world legends and unexplained phenomena. The circumstances of its discovery are vague, adding to its mythical status. Obtaining Mew was originally only possible through special Nintendo events or glitches in the original Pokémon games. This exclusivity turned Mew into a legend among players, a Pokémon spoken about in hushed tones, a prize only a select few could claim. Then there's Arceus, the alpha Pokémon. Arceus is said to have created the entire Pokémon universe. Its power is immeasurable, and its presence is felt throughout the land. Imagine a Pokémon capable of shaping reality itself. That's Arceus. It's often depicted as a benevolent deity, watching over the world and ensuring its balance. Arceus's introduction in the Diamond and Pearl games added a whole new layer to the Pokémon lore, turning the games into something akin to a creation myth. And of course, Arceus was distributed through special events, continuing the tradition of mythical Pokémon being rare and highly sought after. And what about Hooper? This mischievous Djinn Pokémon is known for its ability to warp space and summon objects and even other Pokémon through its rings. Hooper's playful yet powerful nature makes it a unique and intriguing addition to the mythical roster. Its two forms, Hooper Confined and Hooper Unbound, further highlight its mysterious abilities. The story behind Hooper often involves it playing pranks and causing chaos, but its intentions aren't necessarily malicious. It's more like a cosmic trickster, testing the boundaries of reality. Like the others, Hooper was only available through special distributions, reinforcing its status as a rare and extraordinary Pokémon. But what is it that truly separates mythical Pokémon from their legendary counterparts? It's not just their stats or their event exclusivity, it's the aura of mystery and legend that surrounds them. Mythical Pokémon are often tied to specific stories or myths within the Pokémon world, tales passed down through generations of trainers and researchers. They represent the unknown, the undiscovered, the potential that lies hidden within the vast Pokémon universe. Think about the role these Pokémon play in the larger narrative. They aren't just powerful creatures to be caught and battled with. They're symbols of something more. They represent the magic and wonder that draws us into the world of Pokémon in the first place. Consider the impact of their limited availability. By making these Pokémon event exclusive, the creators ensure that they remain special and unique. It creates a sense of community among players who participate in these events, a shared experience of obtaining something rare and valuable. It's a brilliant way to build hype and excitement around the Pokémon franchise. And how do these Pokémon affect gameplay? While they can be powerful additions to a team, their rarity often means that they aren't used in competitive battles. Instead, they become trophies, symbols of dedication and achievement. They're the Pokémon you show off to your friends, the ones that spark conversations and inspire awe. Now, imagine the process of designing a mythical Pokémon. What kind of backstory would you create? What powers would it possess? What role would it play in the Pokémon universe? These are the questions that the creators grapple with when bringing these extraordinary creatures to life. And what about the future of mythical Pokémon? As the Pokémon franchise continues to evolve, we can expect to see even more unique and intriguing mythical Pokémon added to the roster. Each new edition will bring its own story, its own powers, and its own aura of mystery. These Pokémon also often serve as a bridge between different games and generations. An event featuring a mythical Pokémon might tie into a movie or a new game release, creating a sense of continuity and excitement across the franchise. It's a clever way to keep players engaged and invested in the Pokémon world. The design of these Pokémon is also often more intricate and detailed than that of regular Pokémon. They often feature unique colour schemes, elaborate patterns, and distinct features that set them apart. This attention to detail further enhances their mythical status, making them feel truly special and extraordinary. But have you ever wondered why these Pokémon are so often tied to events? What is it about the event format that makes it so perfect for distributing mythical Pokémon? It's about creating a sense of anticipation and excitement. It's about making the Pokémon feel like a reward for being a dedicated fan. It's about building a community around a shared experience. And what about the ethical considerations? Some might argue that making these Pokémon so rare creates a sense of unfairness. Not everyone has the opportunity to attend these events or obtain these Pokémon, but perhaps that's part of what makes them so special. Their rarity adds to their mystique, making them even more desirable. Ultimately, mythical Pokémon represent the pinnacle of Pokémon collecting. They're the rarest, most powerful and most mysterious creatures in the Pokémon world. They're the ones that spark our imaginations and remind us of the magic and wonder that lies at the heart of the Pokémon franchise. They are not just data in a game, they are a source of stories, shared memories, and a sense of wonder that transcends the digital world. Think of the playgrounds and schoolyards where rumours of Mew's existence once flew, or the feeling of finally redeeming a code for a long-awaited Arceus. These moments, these shared experiences, are what truly define the mythical Pokémon. They are the living embodiment of the Pokémon world's greatest secrets, and yet, even these elusive beings are not the strangest or most otherworldly creatures that the Pokémon universe has to offer. Prepare yourself, because next we're diving into the realm of Ultra Beasts, extraterrestrial Pokémon from Ultra Space. Introduced in Generation 7, boasting a stat total around 570, and, exemplified by the likes of Buzzwole and Kartana, these Pokémon are about to redefine your understanding of what it means to be a Pokémon. Paradox Pokémon. Are they a glitch in the Matrix, or a window into realities we can barely comprehend? These creatures, introduced in Generation 9, challenge everything we thought we knew about evolution and the very nature of time itself. Imagine encountering a Pokémon that is simultaneously familiar and utterly alien. Paradox Pokémon are ancient and future relatives of existing species, pulled from different timelines and deposited in our own. Think of it, a prehistoric Jigglypuff, a robotic Delibird. It's mind-bending, isn't it? These Pokémon exist outside the normal rules of the Pokémon world. Unlike almost every other Pokémon, they are genderless. This means that Paradox Pokémon can't breed. You can't create more of these anomalies through traditional methods. They are in essence temporal tourists, unique specimens wrenched from their original time. Adding to their mystique, Paradox Pokémon also cannot evolve. What you see is what you get. Roaring Moon will always be Roaring Moon. Iron Bundle will always be Iron Bundle. They are frozen in time, a snapshot of a past or future that may or may not ever come to pass. Take Iron Bundle, for example. This futuristic relative of Delibird is a sleek, ice-powered machine. Its design is sharp and angular, a stark contrast to the round and cheerful Delibird we all know. It seems to glide on a single ice skate, and its bag is now a high-tech energy container. Its icy attacks are amplified to an unbelievable extent. It's a chilling vision of what Delibird could become. Then there's Roaring Moon, an ancient relative of Salamence. This Pokémon is a primal force of nature, a terrifying dragon with immense power. Its wings are more like scythes, and its eyes burn with a fierce intensity. The normally sleek Salamence is now a wild, untamed beast. It is a glimpse into Salamence's ancient, more aggressive past. But what does it all mean? Are these Pokémon simply alternate forms like mega evolutions or regional variants? No, Paradox Pokémon are far more profound. They offer a glimpse into alternate timelines, realities where evolution took a completely different path. They are living proof that the present we know is just one of countless possibilities. Think about the implications. If Paradox Pokémon exist, then what other timelines are out there? What other versions of our favourite Pokémon are roaming around in different realities? Are there timelines where Pikachu is a water type, where Charizard is a gentle healer? The possibilities are endless, and frankly, a little overwhelming. The introduction of Paradox Pokémon in Generation 9 was a game changer, and I don't say that lightly. It wasn't just about adding new creatures to catch and train, it was about expanding the lore, challenging our understanding of the Pokémon universe, and opening up a Pandora's box of questions about time, space, and the nature of reality itself. These Pokémon are not just powerful, they are conceptually fascinating. They force us to consider the branching paths of evolution, the infinite potential of the universe, and the delicate balance that holds our own reality together. What caused these shifts in the timelines? Was it a single event, a butterfly effect that rippled through history? Or are these timelines constantly diverging and merging, creating an endless tapestry of possibilities? The mystery surrounding Paradox Pokémon is only deepened by their origins within the Great Crater of Paldea. This location seems to act as a nexus point, a place where the boundaries between timelines are thin, allowing these creatures to cross over into our world. What secrets does the Great Crater hold? What other wonders and horrors might lie hidden within its depths? The fact that Paradox Pokémon are genderless and unable to breed raises even more questions. Are they truly unique individuals, or are there more of their kind lurking in their respective timelines? If they can't reproduce, how did they even come to exist in the first place? Did some kind of scientific experiment gone wrong create them? Did a powerful force from another dimension bring them into being? Perhaps the most unsettling aspect of Paradox Pokémon is their inherent instability. They don't truly belong in our time, and their presence can disrupt the natural order. Are they a threat to the balance of the world, or are they simply misunderstood creatures longing to return to their own timelines? Imagine the ethical dilemmas involved in studying these Pokémon. Do we have the right to keep them in our world, away from their natural habitats? Should we try to send them back to their own timelines, even if it means risking unknown consequences? The questions are complex and the answers are far from clear. Consider the potential impact of Paradox Pokémon on the Pokémon economy. If we could somehow harness their unique abilities, what would it mean for the future of technology and energy? Could Iron Bundle's ice powers be used to solve the world's energy crisis? Could Roaring Moon's strength be used for construction and defense? But at what cost? Would we be exploiting these creatures for our own gain, disregarding their well-being and their place in the universe? The design of each Paradox Pokémon is a masterclass in visual storytelling. They are not simply reskins of existing Pokémon, they are completely reimagined, reflecting the unique characteristics of their respective timelines. Ancient forms are often more primal and aggressive, while future forms are sleek and technologically advanced. Each Paradox Pokémon tells a story, hinting at the history and culture of its timeline. They are windows into worlds that could have been, or worlds that might one day be. And by studying them, we can learn more about ourselves, our potential, and the choices that will shape our future. The existence of Paradox Pokémon also raises profound philosophical questions about free will and determinism. If the future is already predetermined, as the existence of future Paradox Pokémon suggests, then do our choices really matter? Are we simply puppets of fate destined to follow a predetermined path? Or do we have the power to change the future, to create new timelines and new possibilities? Perhaps the greatest lesson we can learn from Paradox Pokémon is the importance of embracing change and uncertainty. The universe is constantly evolving, and we must be willing to adapt and learn from the unexpected. By studying these anomalies, we can gain a deeper understanding of the forces that shape our world and our place within it. The impact of Paradox Pokémon extends far beyond the games themselves. They have sparked countless fan theories, artwork and stories, inspiring players to imagine their own alternate timelines and their own unique Pokémon designs. They have become a symbol of the endless creativity and imagination that lies at the heart of the Pokémon franchise. So, the next time you encounter a Paradox Pokémon, take a moment to appreciate its significance. It is not just a powerful creature to be caught and battled. It is a window into another world, a reminder of the infinite possibilities of the universe, and a challenge to our understanding of everything we thought we knew. They are a symbol of the unknown, a question mark in the face of the vast expanse of time. And who knows, maybe one day you'll stumble upon a Paradox Pokémon yourself and you'll be the one asking these questions. The world of Pokémon is always full of surprises, always ready to challenge our assumptions and expand our horizons. But now, let's set aside these mind-bending temporal anomalies for the moment and turn our attention to a more familiar, comforting presence. Next, we'll explore starter Pokémon. First partners, grass, fire, and water types. The Pokémon who begin each region's journey, representing growth and personal story, and are often the player's most cherished Pokémon. Have you ever wondered why, in every single Pokémon region, you're given the impossible choice between three adorable creatures at the very start of your adventure? These aren't just any Pokémon, they're the starters, the first partners, the Pokémon that often shape the entire trajectory of your journey. These initial choices, these grass, fire, and water types, are more than just gameplay mechanics. They're the foundation upon which your entire Pokémon story is built. They mark the beginning of something truly special, a bond that can last for hundreds of hours of gameplay, and even longer in your memories. From the moment Professor Oak, Elm, Birch, or whichever regional professor extends that fateful invitation, you're faced with a decision that feels both exhilarating and terrifying. Which of these three will you choose? Which will be your constant companion, your stalwart ally against any and all challenges? This decision marks the true beginning of each region's journey. Think back to your first Pokémon game. Do you remember the agonizing deliberation? Were you drawn to the fiery passion of a Charmander, the leafy embrace of a Bulbasaur, or the watery confidence of a Squirtle? Perhaps it was Chikorita, Cyndaquil, or Totodile that captured your heart. Or maybe Treecko, Torchic, and Mudkip were more your style. The specifics change with each region, but the weight of that initial choice remains constant. These starter Pokémon represent growth and personal story in a way that no other category quite matches. They're with you from the very beginning, witnessing your triumphs and your defeats. You train them, nurture them, and watch them evolve, mirroring your own progress as a trainer. They become a reflection of your own journey, a living embodiment of the bonds you forge along the way. Consider the sheer amount of time you spend with your starter. From those first tentative steps in the tall grass to the climactic battle against the Elite Four, they're always there, learning and growing alongside you. They are essential companions throughout the game. They're your go-to Pokémon, the one you rely on in tough spots, the one you shower with affection after a hard-fought victory. And it's not just about their strength in battle. Starters often have unique personalities that shine through, making them feel like true companions. Perhaps your starter is fiercely loyal, always eager to protect you, or maybe they're playful and mischievous, bringing a sense of lightheartedness to your adventures. Whatever their individual quirks, they become an integral part of your team's dynamic. The design of these Pokémon also plays a significant role in their enduring appeal. Game Freak pours an incredible amount of thought and care into crafting these creatures, ensuring that they're both visually appealing and conceptually interesting. Their evolutions are carefully planned to reflect their growth and development, often incorporating elements of the region's culture and mythology. Take, for example, the Unova region starters, Snivy, Tepig, and Oshawott. Snivy, the grass snake Pokémon, exudes an air of elegance and sophistication, reflecting the region's more urban and refined aesthetic. T-Pig, the fire pig Pokémon, is a boisterous and energetic companion, embodying the spirit of adventure. And Oshawott, the water otter Pokémon, is a playful and curious creature, always eager to explore the unknown. The choice of type, grass, fire or water, is also significant. These three types form a classic triangle, each with its own strengths and weaknesses. This creates a built-in element of strategy and balance, encouraging players to think carefully about their team composition. Furthermore, the starter you choose can significantly impact your overall experience. In some games, certain gym leaders might be particularly challenging depending on your starter's type. This adds another layer of complexity to the decision, forcing you to consider the long-term consequences of your choice. But beyond the strategic considerations, there's something deeply personal about the connection you form with your starter. They're not just tools to be used in battle, they're partners, friends, and confidants. They're the Pokémon you share your journey with, the ones who witness your growth as a trainer. And that's why starters are often the player's most cherished Pokémon. They represent the beginning of a grand adventure, a journey filled with challenges, discoveries, and unforgettable moments. They're a reminder of where you started and how far you've come. Think about the final battle against the champion. Your starter, by your side, ready to face any challenge. They've been with you since the very beginning, and now they're helping you reach the pinnacle of your Pokémon journey. It's a powerful moment, a testament to the bond you've forged over countless hours of gameplay. Even years later, you might find yourself thinking back to your first starter. You remember their name, their moveset, and the countless battles you fought together. They're a part of your Pokémon history, a cherished memory that will stay with you forever. The impact of starter Pokémon extends far beyond the games themselves. They've become iconic symbols of the Pokémon franchise, appearing in merchandise, anime, and countless fan creations. They're instantly recognizable, and they evoke a sense of nostalgia and excitement in fans of all ages. They are the gateway to a whole new world, a world of endless possibilities and unforgettable adventures. They're the first step on a path that can lead to greatness, a journey that will shape you as a trainer and as a person. So the next time you start a new Pokémon game, take a moment to appreciate the significance of that initial choice. Choose wisely, and remember that the Pokémon you choose will be more than just a partner. They'll be a friend for life. The care that's put into these Pokémon also extends to how they are presented within the game. From unique animations to special cutscenes, the games go out of their way to make the player feel like they are embarking on a grand adventure with their new companion. This extra attention to detail further solidifies the starter Pokémon as being integral to the experience. The choice of a starter also encourages replayability. Trying a different starter provides a fresh perspective on the game, as different team compositions and strategies can lead to vastly different experiences. This helps keep the games engaging and exciting, even after multiple playthroughs. The starter Pokémon are more than just a gameplay element. They are a narrative device that helps to tell the story of the player's journey. They are a constant presence, a symbol of growth, and a reminder of the bonds that can be formed between humans and Pokémon. And as we close this chapter, I can't help but think about the other powerful Pokémon out there, the ones that stand just below the legendary status, the Pokémon known as pseudo-legendary Pokémon. 3-stage evolutions, total base stats of 600, very powerful but not legendary. Dragonite, Tyranitar and Garchomp are examples. These Pokémon are powerful and popular choices for competitive battling, and what makes them so special is a story for another time. What if I told you there were Pokémon so powerful, so sought after, that they almost reached the status of legend but fell just short? These titans of the Pokémon world exist in a special category, the pseudo-legendary Pokémon. These Pokémon are defined by a few key characteristics. First, they all have 3-stage evolutions, meaning they start as a basic form, evolve once, and then evolve again into their final, incredibly powerful form. Second, and perhaps most importantly, they all share a total base stat of 600. This means if you were to add up all of their stats, HP, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed, the total would always equal 600. This is a significant number, placing them far above most other Pokémon, but just below the average base stat total of true legendary Pokémon. But what does it really mean to be a pseudo-legendary? It means you're among the elite. You're a powerhouse capable of going toe-to-toe with some of the strongest creatures in the Pokémon universe, without quite reaching the heights of the literal gods and guardians. Think of them as the all-stars of the Pokémon world, consistently high performers, but not quite the untouchable legends. You might be familiar with some of the most popular examples. Dragonite, the gentle dragon type, is perhaps the most iconic. Tyranitar, the armor Pokémon, is a menacing rock and dark type, and Garchomp, the Mach Pokémon, is a land shark of incredible speed and power. These Pokémon aren't just strong, they're consistently popular choices for trainers who want to dominate in competitive battling. Why are they so popular? It's a combination of factors. Their high base stats, of course, make them incredibly effective in battle. They can take a hit, dish out massive damage, and often outspeed their opponents. But it's more than just raw power. Pseudo-legendary Pokémon often boast unique typings and abilities that give them an edge in various situations. Let's delve a little deeper into what makes these Pokémon stand out. Take Dragonite, for instance. It begins as the tiny, unassuming Dratini, a pure dragon type. It then evolves into Dragonair, a graceful serpentine Pokémon often associated with good fortune. But it's the final evolution into Dragonite that truly showcases its potential. Dragonite gains the flying type, giving it access to a wider range of moves and a powerful offensive presence. Its ability, Inner Focus, prevents it from flinching, a crucial advantage in competitive battles. Now let's consider Tyranitar. This Pokémon starts as Larvitar, a rock and ground type. It evolves into Pupitar, a cocoon-like Pokémon that prepares for its final transformation. Tyranitar emerges as a dual-type rock and dark type, a fearsome combination that grants it resistance to several common attack types. Its ability, Sandstream, summons a sandstorm upon entering battle, further boosting its defenses and dealing passive damage to opponents. Garchomp is another excellent example. It begins as Guyball, a small ground and dragon-type Pokémon. It evolves into Gabite, a slightly larger and more aggressive form. Garchomp, the final evolution, is a landshark with incredible speed and attack power. Its ability, Sand Veil, increases its evasion in a sandstorm, making it even more difficult to hit. But the pseudo-legendary category isn't just limited to these three. Other notable examples include Metagross, Salamence, Gudra, Como-O, and most recently Baxcalibur. Each of these Pokémon brings its own unique strengths and weaknesses to the table, making them valuable additions to any team. What sets them apart from regular Pokémon with high stats? It's the combination of their three-stage evolution, their consistent base stat total of 600, and their overall impact on the metagame. These Pokémon aren't just strong, they're staples of competitive battling, often shaping the strategies and team compositions of top players. Their unique typings also play a significant role. Dragonite's dragon and flying type combination gives it access to powerful moves like Outrage and Hurricane. Tyranitar's rock and dark type pairing provides resistance to psychic type attacks, a common threat in competitive battles. Garchomp's ground and dragon type combination makes it immune to electric type attacks, a valuable asset against Pokémon like Rotom-Wash and Tapu Koko. Their abilities are equally important. Inner Focus prevents Dragonite from flinching, allowing it to reliably unleash its powerful attacks. Sandstream boosts Tyranitar's defenses and deals passive damage to opponents. Sand Veil increases Garchomp's evasion, making it more difficult to hit. These Pokémon aren't just powerful in battle, they also have interesting lore and backstories. Dragonite is often depicted as a gentle giant, rescuing lost sailors and guiding ships through storms. Tyranitar is a destructive force of nature, capable of leveling mountains and causing earthquakes. Garchomp is a fierce predator, hunting its prey with incredible speed and precision. Each pseudo-legendary Pokémon has its own distinct personality and characteristics. Metagross is a supercomputer made of steel capable of processing information at incredible speeds. Salamence is a dragon with an insatiable desire to fly, often crashing into mountains in its pursuit of the skies. Gudra is a gentle and affectionate dragon known for its sticky mucus that it uses to protect its friends. Kommo-o is a warrior dragon, covered in scales that clang together to create a fearsome battle cry. Baxcalibur is an ice dragon, capable of freezing its opponents solid with its icy breath. These Pokémon are more than just numbers and stats. They're characters with their own stories to tell, their own strengths and weaknesses, and their own unique contributions to the Pokémon world. They represent the pinnacle of what a non-legendary Pokémon can achieve, a testament to the power of training and evolution. And you can find strategies built around them everywhere. Online forums, competitive battling websites, and even casual discussions among trainers often revolve around these powerhouses. Figuring out how to counter them, how to best utilize their strengths, and how to overcome their weaknesses is a constant challenge for any serious Pokémon player. The impact of pseudo-legendary Pokémon extends beyond the competitive scene. They're also popular choices for in-game teams, providing players with reliable and powerful partners to help them overcome challenges and defeat tough opponents. Their impressive designs and compelling backstories make them appealing to players of all ages. So, next time you encounter a Dragonite soaring through the sky, a Tyranitar rampaging through the mountains, or a Garchomp speeding across the plains, remember that you're witnessing the power of a pseudo-legendary Pokémon. These are creatures that have earned their place among the elite, not through divine intervention or mythical origins, but through sheer strength, determination, and the power of evolution. They stand as a testament to the fact that even without being a legend, a Pokémon can still achieve greatness. And if you're looking to add one of these powerhouses to your team, remember that patience and dedication are key. These Pokémon often require a significant investment of time and effort to train and evolve, but the rewards are well worth it. The power and versatility of a pseudo-legendary Pokémon can make all the difference in your journey to become a Pokémon master. They are the dragons, the titans, the sharks, and the steel mines that define the upper echelons of Pokémon power. Now, if you're ready to dive into the intricacies of how you can actually create some of these powerhouses, you'll be fascinated by our next topic, breeding and egg group specials, where we'll explore the mechanics of which Pokémon can breed, uncover the secrets of the undiscovered egg group, and even touch on why those adorable baby Pokémon can't breed themselves. Did you know that not every Pokémon can cozy up at a Pokémon daycare and produce an egg? The mechanics of Pokémon breeding are surprisingly intricate, a hidden world governed by rules most trainers only glimpse. It's a system that rewards careful planning and a dash of luck. Let's unravel the secrets of Pokémon reproduction, exploring the egg groups, the exceptions, and the surprising limitations that govern this aspect of the Pokémon universe. Breeding, at its core, allows you to create new Pokémon, inheriting traits and abilities from their parents. It's not just about getting more Pokémon, it's about crafting Pokémon with specific individual values or IVs and inheriting desirable abilities. Think of it as Pokémon genetics in action, a way to optimize your team for competitive battles, or simply to obtain a Pokémon with a particular nature. But here's where things get interesting. Not just any two Pokémon can breed, they need to share an egg group. Egg groups are essentially categories that determine which Pokémon are compatible for breeding. These groups are based on shared characteristics, often physical similarities or habitats. You might find Pokémon from completely different types sharing an egg group, showcasing the fascinating diversity within these classifications. So what are some of these egg groups? You have the monster group, filled with large reptilian or dinosaur-like Pokémon. Then there's the Water 1 group, teeming with aquatic creatures. The bug group, of course, houses insectoid Pokémon. Flying, field, fairy, ground, mineral, dragon, and many others each contain their own unique collection of Pokémon. It's a diverse and sometimes surprising assortment. To breed successfully, you need a male and a female Pokémon from the same egg group. Or you can use a Ditto. Ditto is a special case, a shape-shifting Pokémon that can breed with almost any Pokémon, regardless of egg group. As long as the other Pokémon is breedable, Ditto is the ultimate breeding partner, a valuable asset for any trainer looking to expand their Pokémon family. Now, let's talk about the exceptions, the Pokémon that defy the typical breeding rules. One of the most significant exceptions revolves around the undiscovered egg group. This group is a sort of no breeding zone, a category reserved for legendary Pokémon, fossil Pokémon, and paradox Pokémon. Yes, that's right. The majestic legendaries that grace the box art of the games, the ancient fossils brought back to life, and the mysterious paradox Pokémon from different timelines are all unable to breed. This reinforces their unique status, their legendary or extraordinary nature. It makes sense, doesn't it? The idea of breeding a legendary Pokémon somehow diminishes their mystique, their one-of-a-kind existence. Think about it. Imagine an army of Mewtwo, or a horde of Gruden rampaging across the land. It would completely change the dynamics of the Pokémon world. The inability of legendaries to breed helps maintain the balance, preserving their rarity and importance. Fossil Pokémon too are excluded from breeding, which adds to their unique appeal. They are remnants of a bygone era, brought back through scientific ingenuity. Breeding them would almost trivialize their ancient origins, their connection to a time long past. And the paradox Pokémon, with their strange origins in the distant past or future, are similarly restricted. Their existence is already a paradox, a disruption of the natural order. Breeding them would further complicate their already enigmatic nature. And what about baby Pokémon? Pokémon like Pichu, Cleffa, and Igglybuff. These adorable pre-evolution forms also cannot breed. They are the first stage of an evolution line, the beginning of a Pokémon's journey. They need to evolve and mature before they can pass on their traits to a new generation. It's a natural progression, a reflection of the life cycle within the Pokémon world. This restriction on baby Pokémon also prevents trainers from exploiting the system. Imagine being able to endlessly breed baby Pokémon, churning out an infinite supply of Pichu with perfect IVs. It would diminish the value of raising and evolving Pokémon naturally, of nurturing them from their earliest stages. Breeding, when successful, can be a powerful tool. It allows you to influence the characteristics of your Pokémon, passing down natures, abilities, and even specific moves. Natures, for example, affect the growth rate of certain stats, making some Pokémon more suited for attack, defense, or speed. By carefully breeding Pokémon with desirable natures, you can create a team perfectly tailored to your battling style. Abilities too can be inherited. Some Pokémon have hidden abilities, powerful traits that can significantly impact their performance in battle. By breeding, you can increase the chances of obtaining a Pokémon with its hidden ability, unlocking its full potential. And then there are egg moves, special moves that a Pokémon can learn only through breeding. These moves are often unique and powerful, giving your Pokémon an edge in battle. By strategically breeding Pokémon with egg moves, you can create a truly formidable team, equipped with moves that others simply cannot obtain. The egg groups themselves are a fascinating study in Pokémon classification. They reveal hidden connections between seemingly disparate species, highlighting the underlying logic of the Pokémon world. Consider the Dragon Egg group, home to powerful and majestic creatures like Dragonite, Salamence, and Garchomp. But you'll also find Pokémon like Charizard and Sceptile in this group, despite not being Dragon-type themselves. This suggests a shared ancestry, a hidden link between these powerful Pokémon. Or take the Fairy Egg group, a collection of whimsical and enchanting creatures. You'll find Pokémon like Clefairy, Togepi, and Gardevoir in this group, but also surprising additions like Azumarill and Mawile. This highlights the diverse nature of the Fairy type, encompassing not just cute and cuddly Pokémon, but also those with a mischievous, or even slightly sinister edge. The Field Egg group is perhaps the most diverse, encompassing a wide range of mammalian Pokémon. From Pikachu to Eevee to Lucario, this group is a melting pot of different shapes, sizes, and abilities. It reflects the adaptability and versatility of mammalian Pokémon, their ability to thrive in a variety of environments. Understanding egg groups is crucial for successful breeding. It allows you to plan your breeding strategy, to identify compatible partners, and to maximize your chances of obtaining the Pokémon you desire. There are online resources and breeding charts that can help you navigate the complex web of egg group relationships, making the process a little less daunting. Breeding isn't just about creating powerful Pokémon, it's also about fostering a connection with your team. It's about nurturing new life, about watching a tiny egg hatch into a brand new Pokémon ready to embark on its own adventure. It's a rewarding experience, a testament to the bond between trainer and Pokémon. So, as you drift off to sleep tonight, consider the intricate rules and hidden connections that govern the world of Pokémon breeding. Think about the egg groups, the exceptions, and the potential for creating your own perfect team. And perhaps, just perhaps, you'll dream of hatching a shiny Pokémon with perfect IVs and a hidden ability, a testament to your breeding prowess. But what happens when a Pokémon's very form is dictated by external forces? What if the time of day, the prevailing weather, or even a held item could trigger a dramatic transformation? Prepare yourself, because next time we delve into the captivating world of form changes by time, gender, weather, item, where we'll explore how Pokémon like Castform Giratina and Meowstic adapt and evolve based on the ever-changing conditions around them. Did you know that some Pokémon aren't just one thing? They adapt, they shift, they change depending on the world around them. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of form changes, where Pokémon respond to everything from the weather to the time of day, even the items they hold. Think about it. The Pokémon world isn't static, it's dynamic. And what better way to reflect that than by having the creatures themselves morph and adapt? These conditional forms don't just add a visual flair, they breathe life into the Pokémon universe, making it feel more real, more responsive to the trainer's actions and the environment itself. Take Castform, for instance. This seemingly unassuming Pokémon is a master of disguise, not through trickery, but through sheer adaptability. In its normal form, it's a simple grey, almost cloud-like creature. But when the sun shines brightly, it transforms into its sunny form, radiating heat and taking on a fiery appearance. When it rains, it becomes the water form, dripping with moisture and embodying the refreshing coolness of a downpour. And when the snow falls, it transforms into the ice form, becoming a frosty embodiment of winter's chill. Isn't it remarkable how a single Pokémon can represent so many different aspects of the weather? Then we have Giratina, the renegade Pokémon. Normally it exists in its altered form, a powerful but somewhat restrained state. But give it the Griseous Orb, a mysterious item from another dimension, and it unleashes its true power, transforming into its origin form. In this form, Giratina's true nature is revealed, a creature of immense power and otherworldly grace. The item isn't just a trinket, it's a key, unlocking a hidden potential within the Pokémon. And let's not forget Meowstic, the constraint Pokémon. This elegant feline comes in two distinct forms, male and female, and their differences aren't just cosmetic, they influence their movesets and abilities. A male Meowstic is more focused on support, using its psychic powers to aid its allies. A female Meowstic, on the other hand, is more aggressive, unleashing powerful psychic attacks on its foes. It's a fascinating example of how gender can influence a Pokémon's role in battle and its overall personality. These aren't just random changes, they are carefully crafted to add depth and realism to the Pokémon world. Imagine a world where the weather is just a backdrop, where time has no meaning, where items are just things you collect. It would feel flat, lifeless. But by incorporating these conditional forms, the Pokémon creators have made the world feel alive, like it's constantly changing and evolving around you. Some of these forms are only available at certain times of day, encouraging you to explore the world at all hours. Imagine encountering a Pokémon that only appears at dawn, its form shifting as the first rays of sunlight touch its skin. Or a Pokémon that only reveals its true self under the moonlight, its powers amplified by the lunar glow. It adds a sense of mystery and wonder to the game, making you feel like you're truly discovering something special. And then there are the forms that require specific items to trigger the change, encouraging you to seek out these hidden treasures. These items aren't just keys to unlocking new forms, they're also pieces of lore, fragments of the Pokémon world's history and mythology. Each item has a story to tell, a connection to a specific Pokémon or region. By finding and using these items, you're not just changing your Pokémon's appearance, you're also uncovering secrets about the world around you. Consider the possibilities. A Pokémon that changes form based on the season, reflecting the changing landscape around it. A Pokémon that transforms based on its friendship with its trainer, its appearance reflecting the bond between them. A Pokémon that evolves based on the choices you make, its form reflecting your own journey as a trainer. The possibilities are endless. These form changes aren't just about aesthetics, they often come with significant changes to the Pokémon's stats, abilities, and even its typing. This means that a Pokémon that was once weak to a certain type might become resistant to it in its new form. A Pokémon that had a specific ability might gain a completely different one, opening up new strategic possibilities. It's like getting a brand new Pokémon, but with the added bonus of already having a strong bond with it. This adds a layer of complexity to the gameplay, forcing you to think strategically about when and how to use these form changes. Do you want to save your item for a crucial moment in battle? Do you want to wait for the right time of day to trigger the change? Do you want to adapt your team to the current weather conditions? These are the kinds of questions that you'll have to ask yourself, making each battle a unique and challenging experience. But beyond the strategic implications, these form changes also add a sense of personality to the Pokémon. They're not just mindless creatures following your commands, they're individuals with their own unique characteristics and quirks. Their form changes reflect their personality, their history, and their relationship with the world around them. Think about a Pokémon that changes form when it's feeling happy, its appearance reflecting its joy and excitement. Or a Pokémon that transforms when it's feeling threatened, its appearance becoming more intimidating and aggressive. These changes aren't just random, they're expressions of the Pokémon's inner self, making them feel more alive and relatable. And that's what makes these form changes so special. They're not just a gimmick, they're a way of adding depth, realism, and personality to the Pokémon world. They make the Pokémon feel more alive, more responsive, and more connected to the world around them. They make the game more strategic, more challenging, and more rewarding. Imagine stumbling upon a hidden cave deep in the heart of a mountain. Inside, you find a mysterious stone, pulsating with energy. You touch it, and suddenly, your Pokémon begins to glow, its form shifting and changing before your very eyes. It's a moment of pure discovery, a moment of connection, a moment that you'll never forget. These are the kinds of moments that make the Pokémon world so special. They're not just about catching and battling, they're about exploring, discovering, and connecting with these amazing creatures. And these form changes are a key part of that experience, adding a layer of depth and complexity that makes the world feel truly alive. So next time you're playing Pokémon, take a moment to appreciate these form changes. Look closely at the details, think about the implications, and let yourself be amazed by the creativity and ingenuity of the Pokémon creators. They've crafted a world that is constantly changing and evolving, and these form changes are a perfect reflection of that. They add a sense of wonder and excitement to the game, making you feel like you're truly a part of something special, and it makes you wonder what other secrets are hidden within the Pokémon world, waiting to be discovered, what other forms are out there waiting to be unlocked. The possibilities are endless, and that's what makes the Pokémon world so captivating. Now, as we begin to wind down, perhaps you're pondering what new marvels await us in the ever-expanding world of Pokémon. The beauty of this world is that it never stands still, which leads us perfectly to our next stop, future and evolving categories, where we'll explore how the Pokémon world is constantly evolving with new discoveries and the endless possibilities for new Pokémon and forms. What if the very idea of a Pokémon category is itself a moving target? The Pokémon world isn't just expanding geographically with new regions, it's expanding conceptually. New forms, new mechanics, and entirely new ways of thinking about Pokémon are added with each generation. It's easy to get caught up in the established order, the types, the stats, the moves. But the Pokémon universe is, at its heart, a celebration of boundless imagination. It's a world where a key chain can become a ghost-type Pokémon, where ice cream cones come to life, and where even discarded trash bags find a place in the ecosystem. Think about it. Every new game introduces a concept that, at first, seems outlandish. Mega Evolution defied expectations, then Dynamax, then regional variants. Each time, the community adapts, redefines its understanding, and welcomes the new possibilities. This constant evolution is what keeps the Pokémon world vibrant. It's a testament to the creativity of the designers and the enduring appeal of a world where anything is possible. It's easy to become focused on the competitive scene, on min-maxing stats and building the perfect team. But sometimes it's important to step back and appreciate the sheer wonder of it all, to reflect on the fact that this world, with all its intricate rules and systems, is ultimately built on a foundation of pure, unadulterated imagination. Consider the introduction of Paradox Pokémon. These ancient and future relatives of familiar species completely upended our understanding of evolution and time itself. They forced us to reconsider what we thought we knew about the history of Pokémon and the possibilities of the future. Were they truly from the past and future, or were they constructs of some unknown technology? The questions themselves are more important than the answers. And what about convergent species? Wiglet resembling Diglett, but entirely unrelated. This concept introduced a whole new layer of ecological mimicry. It challenged our assumptions about evolutionary relationships and demonstrated that similar environments can lead to strikingly similar outcomes, even in completely different species. It's a concept that encourages us to look closer, to question our initial perceptions, and to appreciate the subtle nuances of the Pokémon world. The very act of categorizing Pokémon is an ongoing process. As new species are discovered, scientists and trainers alike must find ways to classify them, to understand their relationships to other Pokémon, and to determine their place in the ecosystem. This is not a static endeavor. It's a dynamic, ever-evolving field of study. Remember the introduction of Fairy type. This single addition completely reshaped the battling landscape, forcing trainers to rethink their strategies and adapt to a new dominant force. It also breathed new life into older Pokémon, giving them a new type advantage and a renewed sense of relevance. And what about the Terrastall phenomenon in the Paldea region? This mechanic allows Pokémon to change their type in battle, adding a whole new layer of strategic depth. It encourages experimentation and rewards trainers who are willing to think outside the box. Each of these additions is not just a new gameplay mechanic, it's a new opportunity for storytelling, for world building, and for expanding the lore of the Pokémon universe. It's a chance to explore new themes, to introduce new characters, and to create new and exciting adventures. Think about the impact of regional forms. These variations on familiar Pokémon, adapted to different environments, showcase the incredible diversity of the Pokémon world. They demonstrate how the same species can evolve in different ways, depending on the conditions in which they live. Alolan Executor, towering over its Cantonian counterpart, is a perfect example of this. Or Galarian Wheezing, with its top hat-like smog filters, reflecting the industrial landscape of the Galar region. These regional forms are not just cosmetic changes. They often come with new abilities, new typings, and new strategies. They add a layer of complexity to the battling system and encourage trainers to explore different regions to discover all the unique Pokémon that inhabit them. The introduction of Z-moves in the Alola region was another game changer. These powerful once-per-battle attacks added a cinematic flair to the battling system and gave trainers a new way to express their bond with their Pokémon. They were a testament to the power of teamwork and the importance of building strong relationships with your Pokémon partners. And who could forget the introduction of double battles? This format, which allows trainers to use 2 Pokémon at the same time, completely transformed the competitive landscape. It required new strategies, new team compositions, and a deeper understanding of type matchups and move combinations. It was a challenging but rewarding format that pushed trainers to their limits. The Pokémon world is a mirror reflecting our own. The constant exploration, the discovery of new species, and the ever-evolving understanding of the natural world all resonate with our own human experience. It's a world that encourages curiosity, exploration, and a deep appreciation for the interconnectedness of all living things. So, as you drift off to sleep tonight, consider the endless possibilities that lie within the Pokémon world. Imagine the new forms that might be discovered, the new mechanics that might be introduced, and the new stories that might be told. Perhaps you'll dream of a Pokémon that can change its type based on the phase of the moon, or a Pokémon that can communicate with humans through telepathy. Maybe you'll envision a new region inspired by your own backyard, filled with unique and fascinating Pokémon that have adapted to its specific environment. The only limit is your imagination. The Pokémon world is a blank canvas, waiting to be filled with your own creative ideas. Embrace the unknown, explore the possibilities, and let your imagination run wild. And remember, the Pokémon world is not just a game. It's a community. It's a place where people from all walks of life can come together to share their love of Pokémon, to discuss their favourite strategies, and to celebrate the joy of discovery. It's a place where friendships are forged and memories are made. So take a deep breath, relax your mind, and allow yourself to be transported to this magical world. Let the sounds of the Pokémon Center lull you to sleep, and let the images of your favourite Pokémon dance in your dreams. The Pokémon world is constantly evolving, and you are a part of that evolution. Your ideas, your stories, and your passion all contribute to the richness and diversity of this amazing world. And as you sleep, remember that the possibilities are truly endless. There are countless undiscovered Pokémon waiting to be found, countless new regions waiting to be explored, and countless new adventures waiting to be experienced. So, close your eyes, let your mind wander, and dream of the future of Pokémon. Dream of the new forms, the new mechanics, and the new stories that will shape the Pokémon world for generations to come. Embrace the calm, let your thoughts drift, and remember the core message of Pokémon: connection, discovery, and the enduring power of imagination. Tomorrow, when you wake, you'll carry that imagination with you, ready to face the day with a renewed sense of wonder and possibility. But for now, let the gentle rhythm of the Pokémon world guide you to sleep. Let the soothing sounds of nature lull you into a peaceful slumber. And as you drift off, consider this: the very act of categorizing, of understanding, is what drives our curiosity and fuels our imagination. It's what makes us want to explore, to discover, and to learn more about the world around us. And now, as we prepare for our final journey, let's reflect on how these categories, these frameworks we've explored, ultimately lead us to a single, unifying truth. If this story resonated with you, there's plenty more. Click the video on screen to keep the journey going, or dive into the full Pokémon playlist for more stories, memories, and deep dives. Whichever path you choose, I'll see you there, trainer.